check it. I completely lost where I was. Just go back to chat.
Yeah, sorry. Just pull up chat. I don't know if anyone will be watching again.
No, it's fucking old shit. Wait, I'm streaming, right? There we go. Just had some delay. Oh my fucking god, it sounds normal now. What the hell? Oh, thank god. It should be fixed.
Let's go.
Finally.
We're talking about your ass, I swear.
Nah, that's good. Okay, so this is Terry's Day Out. Let's shut the fuck up. I don't care. So are we all just gonna like chip in and read some of this, or?
Okay.
Well, I didn't even think about that.
Terry's Day Out. This is the sequel to Shaq's Day Out. You wanna watch that video first? If not, then fucking I don't know. This is the story. Something up with my mic?
What's happening?
My mic good? My.
Oh, yeah, that's not good.
Oh, okay,
you're
sweet.
good. I was just gonna fucking comment on the fact that I went to Terry's Day Out and it sent me straight to the last chapter of it.
Oh yeah, I did kind of do some scrolling just to see how long it is. I love how the last page is like long as the rest of the story.
Of course.
That's gotta be my favorite feature. It's got like the whole long fight scene.
You gotta finish strong, you know?
Mm-hmm. I feel that.
Don't worry. Shaq's Day Out stories have notoriously long.
Okay, this is gonna be epic. This is the story of one man's gallbladder. Shaq's Kermit alarm clock. Wait, hold on. This is. Yeah, okay, this is Terry's Day Out. This is the same. Shaq's Kermit alarm clock rang with its heavy chips as always. Is what a dummy would say, shouted Terry as he was standing in Shaq's room. Oh, hey Terry, here, have fuck my basketball, said Shaq, throwing a moist basketball at Terry. Power! Screamed Terry as he launched himself through 17 buildings and lands on his own house. He ripped off his shorts to change, but before putting on his new pair of shorts, he posed for the fans. There he is, guys. Terry puts on his favorite underpants. Terry then puts on a new pair of shorts. They were, of course, red. He goes downstairs to eat breakfast with his family. Sheen walks down the stairs after Terry, but then Sheen slips and falls down the rest of them. He breaks every bone in his body, and the generic Seinfeld laugh track is heard. Oh God, need a dispenser here, Sheen screeched. Fuck you, I'm not doing the Sheen voice. Terry covers his ears because Sheen's ear-scratching voice. Jack's wife, the engineer, erects a dispenser next to Sheen, and he slowly rejuvenates. Glad we got some engineer gaming in here. Not just engineer, but
engineer gaming.
Fat engineer. Jack Monkey Bomb walks in through the front door and runs up to the sink. He regurgitates, then looks at Terry. Hey there, son, said Jack. Were you drinking Pepsi with Vincent again? Said Terry. Now, son, you know you should be asking me those kinds of questions. Now you know you should be. Okay. I stopped a while ago. Telling lies? No, Terry. When was this written, by the way? Was it like around 2016?
Yeah.
You've got an unintentional
it was like
John...
6 months after Shaq's Day Out.
What time was it in 2016? Like, was it like kind of early 2016 or late?
No, this was late 2016.
Okay, that explains the
This was
Nut
late.
Shack and stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of figured,
Yeah.
but you got an unintentional Johnny reference right there. I just feel like I should point that out. Open your mouth. Ha ha. I don't know how he's supposed to fucking say that. Terry notices a small drop of Pepsi on the bottom of Jack's uvula, but decides not to mention it to his father. Sheen is finally well enough to stand, and Terry shoves Sclooty Pebbles in the box down Sheen's throat. The generic Seinfeld laugh track is heard. Yuck. It tastes like Kosh's suspensory ligaments. Okay. Okay, just checking chat. Terry pulls Sheen into the bathroom and they begin to brush their teeth. Terry then puts on Old Spice and stands in front of the mirror, posing vigorously. Just then, Spencer pops through the mirror, flinging sweat everywhere. I almost want to say that's Spencer from iCarly, but it's been so long since I've even seen that show. I don't even recognize him anymore. What the hell? I didn't know you were a sweatin' Spencer, Terry said sarcastically. The generic Seinfeld laugh track is heard. I'm glad it has the laugh track so I know when the funnies happen. I'm not, but my sculpture of a sweatin' wearing a sweatshirt is, and sweaty work pants is, the generic Seinfeld laugh track is heard. When did you have time to make that? Sheen said annoyingly. If you must know, Darren froze time and gave me plenty of time to make sculptures. Anyway, all aboard the Spence train. Next stop, high school. Spencer heats his saliva until it's like boiling lava, then shoots steam out of his mouth. Spencer yanks Terry and Sheen through the mirror vigorously, and they end up in high school. Right on time as usual, I see. Good job, Spencer, said Terry. Well, I mean, I get paid 666 silicon pennies a day for doing it, and I also get to see when you're sleeping and know when you're awake. It's a win-win. Spencer looks at his sweaty, shirtless Gibby watch. I gotta go get Toby. See you around. Little bro, did you bring your homework today? Said Terry. Yeah, of course. I got it right. Sheen said as he dug into his backpack to get his homework. Oh no! Oh man! I totally forgot to bring my homework. Whatever, said Terry as he walked to math. I'm sorry I missed what you said earlier, but did you guys say you wanted to chip in and read some of this, or
Whatever you want.
somebody else can do it? I don't care. Might as well have the
if you want me to.
Sure. Go for it.
Chapter 2, Math Class. Harry strolls into class and takes a seat. He looks to his left and sees Stoney with his face down on the desk. He looks to his right and sees Bill Trinan stuffing what seem to be powdered donuts down his esophageal canal. He looked at the teacher and he was sporadically yelling something about fairies. Teacher, are you okay? Said Terry reluctantly. Oh, I'm fine. You can call me Mr. Craggett, the teacher. But watch out, kid. Or said the teacher. But watch out, kid. You'll never know when you see it. How come with something at her desk? There is something at her desk in the corner of the room. Right. Terry said, acting as if he was completely crazy. Suddenly the extremely loud intercom turned on and Ross did that stupid thing where they take a breath after they turn on the intercom. It's always uncomfortable. Everybody to the auditorium. We're having an assembly in exactly 10 minutes. Be there and be the species on a parallelogram. Ross forgot to turn off the intercom and breathed heavily for a whole minute. Then she suddenly yelled, "Did I say you could stop rubbing my bunions?" A quiet voice Terry didn't respond. But I've been rubbing them for so long, my fingers are broken. Over him, bad, Ron shouted. Indecipherable speaking can be heard in the background, but Ron's can still be heard. What? I'm making a complete butt of myself? The intercom is still on? Everybody heard what I said? Heard me talking about my bunions? It's still on? Well, the intercom was cut off. Ooh, that was close. If she finished, this story might not have been PG-13. Larry said. He then looked out the window to see Agolf throwing Pink Sheep into his happy box. Harry began to walk out of his class to go to the assembly, but nobody in his class followed. He wondered why, and then he looked at the class sign next door. The sign said math class. At least he thought so. But he took a closer look at that croissant and noticed that it actually said math class. Oh, said Harry. Wait, why do we even have one of those?
Okay, I got a question. What's with the pink sheep in the happy box? Is that some kind of reference?
So happy boxes are gas chambers.
Oh, okay. I get it now.
It's also a reference to Mother 3.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I played that game like forever ago. I remember it now.
Also,
Pink
I think
Sheep.
Pink Sheep was a Miiverse user.
Okay, I thought the pink sheep had like something significant, so I didn't really know about that. I need to know all of the lore.
User we kind of didn't like.
I mean,
also
I get
like
the
to point out-
feeling that
I
there's
like
a
to
lot of
point out that-
users that are kind of shat on in this.
A little bit.
All right, who wants to start with chapter 3?
I'll take this one. As Terry and his classmates walked into the auditorium, something felt different. Oh no! Vector said, realizing it wasn't anything. Terry sat down and realized he was sandwiched between Urkel Schrute and Urkel Grants. I'll just go! Terry screeched, leaping out of his seat and landing 4 rows in 4 hours. To the left, next to Benny Slamowini, Terry's shorts got slightly more moist with sweat. Hey, how's it hanging? Benny said while retracting his eye stalks and pulsating his abdominal strainer. Oh, you know, like a Jew in the Holocaust, Terry said while pulling out a can of Old Spice and using it to propel himself to a new seat. He landed between Tender, Donald Trump, and Soflo. So
Damn,
then I said to him, "That's not a weenie, that's Abdul," Tender said while chuckling. Terry got up and looked down at his seat, realizing that it was Abdul causing the slight disruption of his bowel movements the whole time. Sorry, said Terry softly, then followed it up with power, whilst flinging himself onto the stage, then walking backstage. Now listen, kids. You have the honor of choosing your new class president. Now I need any volunteers for running, Paul Prickly squawked. Several hands shot up in the crowd. Donald got up out of his seat in preparation for his success. Terry, of course, stepped out from backstage. All right, Terry for president! Woohoo! Several voices shouted. What do I look like? A dummy? Terry said. No, take backsies, Trump said boastfully as the rest of the candidates got on stage. Okay, so these are your candidates, Paul said sweatily under the bright lights of the stage. This dome guy, that tangerine with a swanky hairdo, the holographic holocauster himself, that one guy we are letting run because he may or may not strangle me, and the most powerful man in the school, Paul said while motioning to the candidates. We have names, cried out 4 of the 5 candidates. Am I really that powerful? Terry said. Yeah, you are, shouted his abdomen. Who said that? Was that my left bicep? No, it was my, Terry said suspensefully. Abdominals, his abdomen said in a low tone. Anyway, I'll let the candidates do the introductions, Paul said, caressing his meaty nose while Trump groped the microphone in a familiar fascist fashion. Trump's my name, politics my game, he said, followed by his toupee falling off. Bald! 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 Shrieked the crowd as Trump ran off stage, leaving the microphone open for the next candidate. So while that man is gone, let's talk about the Jews, Agolf said. Whoa, Agolf, keep it PG-13, Terry said while giving him a distasteful look. Fine, Agolf said, jumping off the stage as the sounds of Jews dying were heard. Shh, Save it for the campaign, Jack, Adolf said while hitting his happy box with a whip, then taking a seat in the crowd. Okay, you little weasels, if you don't vote for me, I'll strangle you, said Thomas, squeezing the microphone. He doesn't mean that, Phoebe said while demonically dabbing. Suddenly Thomas' mitts expanded with both direction and magnitude and began throttling her, followed by slamming her into a wall. I rest my case, Thomas said while hopping off stage. Meanwhile, on stage, 2 more candidates needed to give their speeches. Keemstar took the microphone. Hey, what is happening, drama alert? He started, being interrupted by the microphone being knocked over by his unnecessarily large beard. The creature retard. I mean, seriously, there's so many things that are bad about him that I don't even need to mention how stupidly large his garden gnome's beard is. I literally can't see his chin through that thing, Leafy said from backstage. At least I have a chin to grow a beard on, Keemstar said, causing laughter. The laughter included, but was not exclusive to, William's nasally laugh, Toby's throat laugh, Sheen's pain-inducing laugh, and the Seinfeld laugh track. Suddenly, Terry grasped the mic and breathed in. Power! Terry shouted. The entire auditorium shook so much that the staff decided to end the assembly and the candidates began to campaign.
All I gotta say, thank you for reminding me that SoFlo exists.
Yeah.
He's real. What the fuck? Okay, last one want to do? The one who hasn't read, want to do this one?
I'll give it an attempt. Propagandendorf. P.S. This chapter has nothing to do with Ganondorf. After Terry screeched like a banshee and made everyone leave the auditorium, everyone was scattering in the hallways, scrambling like wombats with Down syndrome to hear the campaigns of the candidates. Keemstar walked up to his podium that was made up of Leafy's back. In my life, I've made fun of a lot of people, he began. There was an awkward silence. And, said Plum. And that's all. Vote Keem because I'll win fast as fuck, boy, said Keemstar, running around in a circle. On the other side of the hall, Shaq was helping Terry set up. Then some sunbeams bounced off his shiny scalp and burned Keemstar's beard, causing it to fall on the floor. Hey, get back here, said Keemstar, chasing it like Sonic the Hedgehog. Hey, give me some of that, said Leafy, trying to cover his non-existent chin. Max, smooth my beard hair, Leafy said to Max. Yes, sir, Max said enthusiastically as he smoothed a mass of hairs. Keemstar frantically searched for hairs, so he reached out in front of him and grabbed the first thing he saw. Ah, much better, he said, not realizing he ripped off Principal Peter Prickly's chest hair. Peter gave him a look that said, give me back my nipped hair or else. You know the face, like the one below. That face. Suddenly, Paul walked in. He was checking his Tinder to see if Vincent accepted his friend request when he looked up to see his brother Peter. Half point. What brings you here on low on funds again? Nice chest. By the way, I love the way your nips pulsate in discomfort because of the absence of chest hair, Paul said, smiling. Oh yeah, well, he interrupted himself and turned to grip me in manner of Kermit the Frog suit. Sorry, grade school muppets, you don't want to see this. The Frickleys then began to beat the crap out of each other in the parking lot. They stopped for a moment. Neither of us will win like this, Paul said. You're right, Peter said. Can we borrow these? The Frickley brothers said to Bergden and Turner about the mixed suits. Go ahead, guys, Bergden said with a smile. The two then duked it out while destroying the city in their wake. Meanwhile, Thomas von Strange was threatening everyone. My grimy and moist fists will go into your ear, into your brain juice, and down your bowel tubes, and I'll rip out your soul and strangle it if you don't vote for me, he said with a smile. I am going to claw my way down your throat and tear out your very soul, he continued. Ethan Sullivan gave him a strange glare. A few meters away, Agolf was telling his supporters the juicy facts about his campaign. You hate Jews? I hate Jews? I relate to people, Agolf said with his arm around Ajax Varion. Free happy boxes for everyone, Agolf said, throwing happy boxes everywhere. Joey Salads took one look while saying, Can I put black people in this? You most certainly can, Agolf said, tipping his hat. Agolf had a brief chuckle with his mustache, wiggled a bit, then fell off to reveal that he was actually Robbie. Robbie Rotten, Manny Skeeto said while trying to keep his human disguise on. Who are you expecting? Sportaflop? Robbie said. I see you've met my dummet, the relay golf said. This is one of what I used to make the world think I had committed suicide. The crowd made noises as they took notes. Meanwhile, Trump and Soflo Antonio were campaigning to the basket of deplorables that made up the school's Trump supporters. So as you know, I started off with a very small loan that my father gave me. Also, Hillary Clinton should go to school prison. The basket cheered for Trump as it wore to Make America Great Again hat. You can read my book. It's called Mein Kampf 2, Trump said. Hey, I see you, Hagel said to Trump. Terry was finally about to campaign. Him and Shaq were in tuxedos as they happily strutted towards the podium. Mr. Tibor talked to Terry before they started. I haven't decided my vote yet. What are some things you'll do in office? Tibor asked, sipping coffee. Old Spice, said Terry. Interesting. I see you're also a man of muscular physique. Make poses with me. The two made muscular poses. Terry made music with his muscles as they did. But then Terry decided it was time for his speech, so he grabbed the mic. Hey, get your hands off me or so help me, Mike Wazowski sang. Terry then grabbed the mic. My fellow classmates, as class president, my abdominal Shaq and I will make sure everyone gets moisturizer with the most elegant of swaggers, said Terry, followed by a long silence. Jack stood up, the samurai one, and got ready to ask a question. What? Is what a dummy would say. Old Spice Bear Glove is so powerful that it will make the school a better place. Vote Terry Shaq for a position of true power, Terry said, flying around using Old Spice as a propulsion jetpack. Clinchmaster took a can of Old Spice midair. Everyone cheered for Terry. Hey, where's Manowar? Shaq said while clapping. Under the table, Portuguese Manowar subtly slipped on his fedora and slid into a closet. He triggered a button, sending him to his underground base. Good morning, Agent D, Arnold said. His face appeared on a large screen. Sagmaster is up to his old tricks. Something about Orban and Cuba, I think. I don't remember, but he's working on something truly evil. So let me introduce you to your partner who will assist you on this mission, Arnold said. Soon, Gumi slid into the chair next to Manowar. Agent B, meet your partner, Agent G. The two piles of goo stared at each other. Agent A was supposed to join you today, but unfortunately she was kidnapped by Sagmaster. I need you two to head over to Button Corp to put an end to this and save her. Good luck, Arnold said. Team PG used jetpacks propelled by moist slime to get to Sagmaster's lair. Button Corp Evil Incorporated. Gumi and Manowar walked in only to be instantly caught in a net that was thrown by Floppy Rotten. Ah, my nemesis, Portuguese Manowar, and his friend. So nice of you to finally join me. Did you like the net? I just found it. And by me, I mean my assistant Floppy, said Sagmaster as Floppy picked his earwax. Manowar saw Angel dance in a cage on the other side of the room. But before he did anything, Gumi and Manowar were shot with Harambe brand tranquilizers. Just before they fell unconscious, they heard a faint voice. You will die, said Gannon. Then everything went dark. PBS Kids, headline.
Mass debate. Is that Ken Bone, my boy? I haven't seen him in fucking forever. After the constant pandering and propaganda, everyone was called to the Autistatorium. Almost everybody was there, but a few like Jack Jackington weren't there. His GPS stopped working and he was on a stationary bike anyway. Everybody took their respective seats, except there are no assigned seats. Shadow was sitting as far back as possible, being edgy, and the farthest he could get was sitting on the projector. Riley Porter was sitting in front of all of the candidates, getting ready to ask them questions. For some reason, there were cameras outside of the school. Thomas was visibly worried about what he should and shouldn't say. Pretty weenie, Keemstar said to taunt him. Come on, Keem, let's be mature about this, Terry said. Mature, Keem said, looking at Terry. The word spewed as much sarcasm as what a spews sweat. I can do whatever I want, Keemstar. How are you supposed to pronounce that?
It's the, you know the fucking reporter girl from the Rhythm Heaven where she goes, wubba dubba dubba? It's that.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
It's a wrestler.
It's the really
Yeah,
scary
I know
one.
what you're talking about now. Okay, yeah, that's... I can do whatever I want. I'm Keemstar. I mean, not false. Terry was about to object, but the questioning began. The first question is for Keemstar. Riley said formally. Of course it is. I'm the best, Keemstar said egotistically. Right. Anyway, if your leadership was a medal, which would it be? Riley said, finishing her previous question. Obviously the best looking medal. Gold, said Keemstar triumphantly. Gold Bond, said Shaq, seizing the opportunity to say Gold Bond. That was a terrible joke, said Keemstar and Red Eagle at the same time. Keemstar gave Red Eagle a strange look. Suddenly, several snaps in a synchronized and menacing beat. What's going on here? Keem said before being swiftly and efficiently beat the crap out of by every single one of the Shaq-themed OCs. Is the what is going on here supposed to be the Beckfist meme, or am I looking way too far into that?
Basically, we had a bunch of different OCs themed around Shaq. And they're all together right now. Some of them are just a combination of Shaq's name, like Shaq and Keel and Cash. But Fluzu, Steel, and Doug are all characters Shaq's played in different movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that phrase was supposed to be... I don't know. I'm fucked up. Looks like you just got, Shaq said in a suspenseful manner. Shaq attack, said Sha, Keel, Kosh, Fluzo, Steel, Doug, and Kazam. They then walked away while snapping in sync. Leafy was laughing at Keemstar, internally bleeding on the floor. Instead of everybody freaking out, almost everybody said, oh well, or whatever. Next question, said Riley. This one is for Thomas. If there was a problematic student, how would you deal with them? Cretme was on the edgy of his seat, waiting to hear his solution and plan against it. Well, something like this, said Thomas. He had instantly begun to strangle himself until he passed out. He was carried off stage into Dr. Robotnik's mean medical machine by Spangrob, and his wounds are tended by by skeleton nurse. Are you kidding me? How does somebody even do that? Said Groom before turning into a were-milkman and running through several walls. Next question, said Riley. This one's for Agolf. What are your thoughts on an ethnically diverse high school? As long as they're Aryans, Agolf said, not knowing how awful this response was. You do realize that about 1/3 of this high school isn't even human, let alone being white, Riley said. So, Agolf said. So, making the school not ethnically diverse would be the equivalent of kicking 95% of the students out, Riley said, flabbergasted. Does that 95% include me? Agolf said. Most likely not, Riley said reluctantly. Then it's not my problem, Agolf said. Are you kidding? That most certainly is your problem. Where else are the other students supposed to go? Riley said, infuriated by his ignorance of the consequences. Different high schools, Agolf said calmly. What other high schools? Basically every single high school has been blown up, dismantled, smashed, set on fire, nuked, eaten, and even sent to hell, Riley said, extremely furious. Whoa, don't get triggered now, Agolf said. Riley began to take deep breaths. All right, to avoid having a seizure, I'll get somebody else to make my point, Riley said while pressing a button. What's that do? Agolf said before being suddenly picked up by the collar of his shirt. Hey you, get off my school, said Toestar before using the biggest fan to fling him through the ceiling. He then followed up with a triumphant ha ha. Riley let out a sigh of relief before preparing to ask the next question. All right, to avoid making another scene, I'm going to ask a question less likely to have a ludicrous answer, she said, knowing that the answer was still going to be ludicrous considering who she was going to ask it to. Skloot, skloot, Rebecca screeched from the crowd. This next question is for you, Donald, Riley said calmly. Please call me Mr. Trump, Trump said. Donald, what will you do to make this high school great again? Riley said, ignoring the request. Well, thank you for asking. First, I will make sure that we can't sell beef, because they are peanuts. Then I will do everything in my power to make sure the school becomes great again, Trump said through the meaty lip sacks that hold in his false teeth, dodging the question. Riley smacks her face and slowly brings down her hand before moving on and avoid having a stroke. Speaking of power, this next question is for you, Terry. A lot of people say you are very powerful. The school began pulsating to a funky beat. If that's true. Terry hastily responded with a firm, yeah. Riley was impressed by his quick but firm response and couldn't help but say, whoa, you go, big guy. Terry then flexed to show how powerful he was. Darren intervened and took out his camera. Pose for the blog, Darren shouted at Terry. Terry responds by posing in a manly manner. I'm Terry Crews, and if you put me in power, I'll show you the true power, Terry said, doing a full lap around the Autistatorium and then running out. All right, it looks like we're out of time. Tune in next time. I mean, cast your votes. Yeah, Riley said before putting a ballot on the table and sitting there awkwardly. Okay, one question. Who's Toestar?
Ryan, answer this one.
Okay, so you know Hotel Mario, right?
Oh, it's the toaster? Oh my god, I can't believe I missed it.
It's a version of Hotel Mario where Luigi is dead and it made him really edgy.
Oh, okay, this is like a whole new thing. Said toaster. Using the...
I'm like disappointed that the next chapter's picture got removed, I'm pretty sure.
With the... Oh, goddamn.
I don't know what it was, but it got removed. Also, look at the number of views. Nice.
Hold on, is that whole paragraph a Hotel Mario reference?
Yeah,
It might be.
Because I feel like the biggest fan is something that would happen in Hotel Mario.
yeah,
Didn't he, like, get a fan or some shit? I don't even remember.
yeah.
Game was a crack house. Alright, who wants to... Oh, yeah, they did. Fucking Wattpad. Who wants to read political...
It had to be pretty bad to get taken off because he had an actual picture of Hitler in the chapter. It was fine, so...
It might just be a link to a video that isn't uploaded anymore.
You know that right there.
Yeah, you guys did have a Hitler picture in Shaq's Day Out. I don't know what the fuck it would be.
Political party monster. Wait, we're doing final votes now? We can't do this. I have to rig all the... I mean, I have to help friend pick clothes. Trump protested. Hey, friend, they don't sell toupees at the clothes store. Terry shouted right at Trump's ears. Shaq grabbed the false hair resting upon the head of the school presidential candidate. Trump wrote Terry on it, crumpled up into a spherical shape, and slam dunked said Voltaire into the ballot box. 1 vote for Terry, Shax doubled up. Oh, come on, now I'm balding, and I'm gonna have worse hearing than Bobby. Trump said, accidentally insulting Bobby out loud. Bobby, of course, didn't hear it because all meatheads have terrible hearing. Alright, the voting begins now, Riley screeched. Nobody got out of their seats. Hey, meatheads, get up here and vote. Everybody in the auditorium scuttled up to the ballot, voting in various ways. For example, the juicer wrote his vote on a piece of paper, then juiced it into the ballot. Bannon cooked pancakes in the shape of his vote. Nobody wanted to write, and got slightly more sad because his all writing is illegible. Sebastian put a whale through a modified whale wash that sprayed his vote on the side of the whale. Jack Jackington didn't vote because he couldn't find his way there. Prince Beasley created a life-size sculpture of his vote made entirely of beans. Is everybody done voting? Riley said. Everybody sat down. Okay, time to tally the votes. Riley put her hand in the ballot box and got extremely uncomfortable. Are these the votes? Are any of these even on paper? She pulled out a bunch of papers and read them out loud. Does Spike Wazowski wink or blink? The roses tumble like a monkey's hand. Who are the fish and chips? Be more answers. Oh, these are even close to valid votes, Riley said. Before most of the people in the crowd began to laugh. Oh, I'm glad at least 2 people took this seriously. Riley looked at 2 cards, one written in gold Sharpie, and one that was written with extreme force. One for Trump, one for Terry. Riley Baseball's great, it's a tie, and a tiebreaker is something I can't even read. Let me try, I can read it because I'm in 6th grade, said Glenn, snatching the card from Riley. Says Terry. How did you know that? Colby said really quietly. I didn't, I just assumed it was a vote for Terry because if we voted for Trump, that would be a problem, said Glenn. Wait, if you wanted Terry to win, why didn't you just vote for him yourself? Questioned Riley. I tried, but I exploded and burnt my paper by accident, Glenn said regretfully. Colby began to play Pokemon. Donald Trump got triggered and slid off stage and built a wall around the school. Back there, pelvic thrusted through it almost immediately, and Shaq walked up to Trump. Looks like your wall. This is not your fault. Shaq said, rubbing gold bound on Trump, causing him to recede into his esophagus. His armpits, you baby piss. Shaq cut past him. Looks like when it comes to Trump, violence is gold bound. Huh? Who's with me? The Soflo getting ready to fling milk carts at everyone. Nobody triggered because Soflo painted the word gold bond with his prank their mouth. You greedy dirtbag, said Slippy, crabbing fit before pitching Soflo 17 times, causing him to go the way of the Trump. Terry wins the election by a landslide, I guess. He won by 1 vote, but that was 33% of all the votes, Riley said before going home for the day.
Alright, Terry should totally play Doomfist. Who wants to take this one?
Might as well keep the order going. As the crowds cheered on Terry, Toby looked back and forth as if he was having one of those newfangled mental breakdowns. Where's Manowar? Toby shouted out, of course being ignored. Suddenly, in a very moist and slimy way, Manowar woke up. Except by woke up, I mean he isn't a sentient being, nor is he a gorilla, so he just kind of spun slightly while oozing. Ah, I see you have awoken, just in time for you to see my latest button. The Muppet Milky button of milking things that is most certainly not juicing things because that is trademark. Man, I really need to work on the name, Sagmaster said while nearly turning nipple purple to running out of breath. Back in school, the juicy got a feeling like he hadn't showered, but was clean simultaneously, so he started for the exit, juicing anyone who he couldn't leave. For example, that one cop who told Joel that he couldn't sleep in that one McDonald's. Told him that sorry. Told him that he couldn't leave and was instantly juiced like a genie. Back in the lair, Sagmaster sat down and caught his breath by expanding and contracting his diaphragm for roughly 95 seconds, then proceeded to continue his explanation of the button. Well, the milk from that machine will be used in my latest button, an extremely large Febreze bottle that can project any liquid button. I really need to work on my naming. Sagmaster then turned on the milking machine, only to realize that it ran on milk. Damn it, this is just like that inflatable pump button I made. Oh well, I guess I'll have to call in a favor. Manowar, you just keep being a pile of goo until I get back. Sagmaster then proceeded to scuttle out of the room like a juicy horseshoe crab and made his way to the school. He then exited the school and started a Discord call with Broom. The call then stopped and Sagmaster got a call on Skype. What are you, a weenie? Said Broom. Fair point, said Sagmaster. Anyway, I need you and your milking powers to head over to Button Corp and start milking those goo piles. While Sagmaster was talking, the juicer overheard him and thought he was talking to him, so he began walking to Button Corp. Sagmaster drove his ex-wife's sports sedan back to the Button Corp, while the juicer and Groom slowly walked in while looking at each other uncomfortably. When they arrived in the lair, they both looked at each other and said, "What's he doing here?" in a chuckling tone. Sagmaster then looked at Groom. Well, I needed someone to extract extra liquid, so I called Groom here. Why are you here, Juicer? The Juicer then proceeded to look around. Wait, so like that stand from JoJo? Suddenly Avery came bursting out of the ground, riding Sebastian the whale-washing dolphin, screaming, "Yes, please touch that some more." "No, not that, JoJo, you moron. Mojo JoJo," Sagmaster said while Avery receded into his dungeon like Ed's head recedes into his shirt. Meanwhile, back at the school, Terry was sitting on a throne made of the charred remains of a Neko that Dwayne exploded. Everyone chanted, "Terry OP, please nerf." Terry smiled and waved. Jack smiled and waved. Fox smiled and wave dashing. Toby saw this and, thinking Terry was waving at him, awkwardly waved back. Everyone looked at him awkwardly, so he just turned on Pokemon Go. Suddenly it crashed because he started reading an ebook. The app crashes mid-battle. Oh crap, it wasn't worth it. Toby gets extremely uncomfortable due to the relevancy. On the less awkward side of the room, the crowd surrounded Terry and the people began asking questions. "So Terry, what's the first thing you're going to do as president?" said Hugh, caressing a duck. "I don't know. I'm not a doctor," Terry shouted while pulsating his pecs. He thought for a second, but only one. "I know. I'll make a suggestion box," Terry shouted, slamming a singular tissue box onto the ground labeled with suggestions. A large crowd of OCs circled the box and began writing down suggestions. "How about we throw all the garbage around the school?" Danny shouted. "How about we release Mother 3 in America?" Bill shouted. Reggie then turned to him and said, "How about we don't eat donuts, huh?" "How about we put more of the school budget towards cultivating glorious kidney beans?" Beasley screeched. Kronk shouted, "How about we fund the bathing the elderly?" While Rudy bathed like Pac-Man. "I say we let it die," O'Hare shouted while tap dancing. "How about we end racism towards mansquitoes?" Manny Skeeto said out of his snout thing. "Ladies, please control yourselves. Just write them and put them in the box." Suddenly the Goldensteins burst in through a pair of double doors and shouted, "Guys, look out for the giant White House met." Suddenly the shouting was muffled when they were shoved inside a box. A one-sided argument could be heard even if you were outside of the box. "I told you we should have gotten the giant White House mech insurance, but no. You said we don't need that. Why would there ever be a giant White House mech in Massachusetts? I told you that I'm always right. Honey, can you back up a bit? Your big nose is stabbing me in the coral of my frontal lobe." Suddenly, the argument disappeared as a whole. When everyone looked, they just say Agolf hauling out a happy box. They all resumed partying as thuds could be heard.
Okay, so I got a question. It's about the McDonald's thing. That one cop who told Joel that he couldn't sleep on that McDonald's. I feel like that's a little too specific to not be a reference.
Yeah, I think that was a reference to Vine Sauce.
Oh, Vine Sauce,
Yeah,
okay.
there was a story about exactly
Oh,
what
Joel,
happened.
not Joe,
Oh.
my bad.
Yeah.
Joel. Okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah, Joel from Vine Sauce. He tried to sleep in McDonald's, but a cop told him to leave.
That's depressing.
Anyway,
Also, I don't know what the Goldensteins are.
So there was a.
You can see a picture of them in the next chapter at the top.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, then I'll check it.
There
Okay.
was a sitcom that was called Heil Hitler Home, and so it was a sitcom where Hitler was basically just kind of straight vibing in his house, and he had two
What?
Jewish neighbors called the Goldensteins, and they you know,
it was
obviously.
canceled after one episode.
Yeah, obviously
for
it
obvious
didn't
reasons.
That's a pretty good.
good. Canceled.
Sounds like a pretty good show.
We
Oh,
watched it. It wasn't actually that bad.
for real?
Well, I mean, you know, as good as the show about literal Hitler can be.
Yeah. I mean, the comedy was like obviously just what it was. So
I feel that. We need a Hitler anime sometime. Alright. The Goldensteins are always the first ones to know. Whoever's reading next.
I got you. Terry was soon lifted down the hall by a crowd of his clammy supporters that were cheering his name. All right, Old Spice for everyone, said Terry. The crowd gave a roar like a pack of Jack Monkey bombs that all took rips for Indies. The crowd carried Terry to the cafeteria for some celebratory hot food, such as silky BBQ and mashed potatoes made by King Koopa himself.
Nice.
JonTron tried to eat a gyro, but they didn't serve them, so he went after Naynar Puss for the sport instead. But Main Perfect shielded it, and Wade dashed into the fish casserole bin. Rebecca Scoot enjoyed some fruit with Pingu as he screeched, "Noot noot." Ken was about to indulge in some damaged Italian bread, but McFrizzle was also eating it, so Ken got triggered. "Hands off my bread," said Ken. McFrizzle gave him a stare and went for the glorious kidney beans. Ken then began to go for his instruments of torture, the winter boots. "Stand back, these are winter boots," said Ken, locking onto McFrizzle. Suddenly, Mr. Ratburn tapped his chubby carrot-like fingers on Ken's shoulder. "Are you having cake?" he asked. "I just stated that these are winter boots. In what dimension does that sound like cake?" said Ken. Luckily, this was the perfect distraction for McFrizzle to sting Ken, so she stabbed him with a plastic butter knife and stole his kidney. Mr. Ratburn had no change in facial expression as he turned around to seek out some cake. Lesson: Ken is an erect sea slug and always drink your milk. Meanwhile, Slam was enjoying a jam sandwich with extra jam. He jammed his face into the sandwich, and it sprayed jam all over Reddy. "Come on, Slam," said Slam as he stuffed his jam-covered face onto the sandwich. "Hey guys, would you mind eating like a human being? Because if you don't shape up, I'll ban you from all of MGN," said Reddy, slamming his claw on a spoon, causing a single Cheerio to fly across the table and into Mark's gullet. Eishi Hiroshimiya laughed hysterically as Mark choked on a Cheerio. "Just like old times, eh, Mark?" said Eishi. "I'll give him mouth to mouth," said Bubbles, the cringy Miiverse user, ready to Lenny up the situation. Suddenly, she was shoved out of the way by Roomby's sucking cleanse. "Honey, let the machine do its job," said Roomby. Roomby then turned himself to maximum suck power and put the vacuum up to Mark's lip hole. Roomby saved his life, but he has no blow function, so he also sucked in Mark's entire digestive tract. Roomby's a Roomba, by the way.
I figured with the picture and everything. The gun Roomba.
Meanwhile, Eagle... Huh?
The gun Roomba.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick.
Security.
It's pretty sick.
Meanwhile, Agolf was hanging out by the ovens when he heard the tug off. "Ooh, it ready," he said. He pulled the Goldensteins out of the oven and put them into his jute fillet. Fuchs Puny was watching him while eating a carrot from a pot full of rabbit stew. Agolf sat down and got ready to dig in when suddenly the entire table was crushed by a giant foot. He looked up to see a giant White House mech. golden steeds, he said before running away. Man in a Kermit the Frog suit nudged Terry with a nervous look and pointed at the mech. What? Said Terry. The mech sent out lamp oil bombs that slid down rope slides off the mech's sides. The school was in chaos and everyone was running around like alcoholic little penguins. Don't worry, guys, I got this. Old Spice shaving gel! Terry shouted, firing Old Spice at the mech, but nothing happened. Come back when you're a little, stronger, Terry. Ha ha ha, shouted a voice. Get a load of this, said Lenny, firing a minigun at the mech. Shadow also used his edgy chaos powers to become super edgy, and it had no effect on the White House. It's no use, said Shadow. Franco pulled out his CG coconut gun, but it fires in spurts, so it's useless, little butt buddy. The value of this property is decreasing massively, said Monopoly Man. Where's Principal Prickly at a time like this? Said Sheen, like an ear-splitting chimpanzee. Meanwhile, across town, Paul and Peter were still at each other's throats, in Bergton and Turner's mech suits. Mom loved me more, said Peter. You're adopted, said Paul. The two fought while destroying the town. Paul revved up a turbo prickly punch that launched Peter's mech suit so hard that it destroyed the Yuck Yuck Hut, Papa John's, Storm's Cabin, and EB Games. This means war, said Peter, revving up an uber prickly punch that hit Paul's mech suit so hard that it destroyed the entire forest, Booner's Taxi, the Nut Shack, and it ran over the rake. Both of them then charged up a Muppetational prickly power punch simultaneously, and they pelvic thrust their mech suits at each other. They destroyed 17 trees each and the first floor of Button Club. What was that noise? Said Sagmaster. The mech suits were destroyed, so now it was a fist fight. Sora the Eagle was watching the whole thing from a safe distance and spoke quietly to himself. Wow, the crime rates in this town are rising like my blood pressure, he said, smirking. Aura, said Peter as he punched Paul in his abdominals. Paul sucked Peter square in the nose, which caused his glasses to fall off. Duh, my glasses, said Peter. Peter then felt around until he found his glasses, but Paul already had his foot on Peter's head. Looks like this is the end, half-pint, said Paul. Wrong foot, said Peter, stabbing Paul in the foot with the shards of his broken glasses. Top 10 anime fights, said Avery in the distance. Paul and Peter fought all afternoon until they both had to stop because they had low blood sugar, and they destroyed every restaurant in town. They both fell to the ground in crippling pain. What were we arguing about again? Said Paul. No, I don't remember, said Peter. Wait a minute, what's that? Paul said, pointing at the White House mech. Well, that mech is way cooler than the one I'm using. I could easily crush you, started Peter. Okay, you're right, let's go check on the grade school Muppets, said Peter. The two brothers walked into school to see everyone running around in complete chaos. What's going on here? Said Peter. Quickly, prickly, to the principal's office, said Paul. The two brothers rushed down the hall as Aurora and Strike joined their sides. They burst into the principal's office to see a strange figure who was not Paul nor Peter in the poop brown spinny chair. What's the meaning of this? Said Paul. Ah, the prickly twins. We meet at last, said a voice. Hey, that's my poop brown spinny chair. Get out, you weenie, said Paul. Not anymore, said that figure, adjusting his name tag that read, Principal Slicer. Slicer, both the principals exclaimed. This school is the site of the new Mega Bucket, said Slicer. I don't know who you think you are, but if you really believe that, started Peter before his mouth was taped by Skizzer. Thank you, Skizzer. Peter was being such a naughty meatball, said Slicer. Before the other Pokemon could do anything, they were beat up by Skizzer, and both Pricklies were tied up and thrown in a corner. Now that you've shut the hell up, let me tell you all about my plan. It all started in the 80s, back when I had hair. Me and Peter were having one of our famous bowl sessions, said Slicer. Insert some fourth wall flashback joke while proofreading here. Man, kids are such freaking Jews. I say we get some more, said Slicer, drinking black coffee. This elementary school is kind of dank and smelly, but if we work hard enough and sweat vigorously, we can rule this place, said Peter. Suddenly, Peter was hit with a rock. Have fun being a teacher, loser, said Paul from outside the elementary school. Hey, get out of here, you punk, said Slicer. So anyways, let's guess, said Slicer. Suddenly a group of kids walked up over to Peter. A small kid covered in body powder tapped his shoulder. Excuse me, Mr. Prickly? I need to go pee-pee, said a younger Shaq. Peter just stared into his soul and smiled. Go ahead, kid, said Peter. These kids have a bright and beamy future, and I can sense it, said Peter to Slicer. Yeah, and I could lose all my luscious flowing hair, Slicer said sarcastically. I want to ask the current principal if I could gas him, continued Slicer. He then walked up to the principal. Hey, buddy, you better lay on some extra gravy or I'll agitate the grapple, he said. Slicer was fired 7 grand seconds later. I told you, said Peter. Slicer then turned red like a steamed vegetable, only more dweeabooish. Keep your cool, Slicer. I could guess the kids at that other school that just has an opening, said Slicer. Suddenly, Paul came back on his motorcycle. He ran over Slicer, and the exhaust pipe burned off all of his luscious hair. Guess what, guys? I just got a job as a teacher, and I'm gonna be better at it than you, Peter, because you suck and nobody likes you except small-wheeled children. Huh? Said Paul. That was when Slicer lost it. That's it. From this day forth, I vow revenge on the Prickly Clan and both their cursed schools. And my mom for putting meat sauce on my pasta, even though she knows that I don't like meat sauce. And that kid right there, who I've never met in my life, but he looked at me funny, said Slicer, pointing at a tiny Terry Crews who was playing with blocks. Slicer then walked home, hairless, and cackling like something that is hairless and cackles, such as Slicer in this very situation. Paul and Peter went back to work thinking nothing of the crazy man. Little Shaq came back from the bathroom with Gold Bond lubricated toilet paper stuck to his weenus. Regardless, the small Shaq went back to playing on the playground with his friends. Put another fourth wall breaking joke here, but this time the flashback is ending. Whoa, salty and triggered, said Paul before his mouth was taped over. I'll admit, I am a bit triggered, but then I think to myself, you'll all be dead soon, said Slicer. He then slammed the door that is guarded by Skizzy. Both Pricklies ate the tape covering their mouths. Truce? Said Paul. Truce, said Peter. Oh, Class President Terry, please save us, said the Pricklies.
Okay, I had a question earlier. God damn it, I can't remember where it was. Oh yeah, the number 17. I feel like I see it a lot. Is that an Arian Cordy reference?
It's a reference to a Beavers roleplay where the very first time Ryan was playing as Terry Crews, he punched someone through 17 trees, and so that's kind of a running gag in the series.
Okay.
It's just a running joke that when Terry punches someone, it's usually through 17 of something.
That makes sense. Is it my turn next? I totally forgot the order. I kind of lost track.
Well, we also need to know are you going to read the final chapter?
We should probably split up the final chapter.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, we could read, like, each a few paragraphs.
I'm not taking that one part. So
I guess I'll take it.
Okay.
I don't even know when it is.
The Terry Crew
exactly
begins.
what it is. It's near the end. Anyway. Oh, another thing got taken off.
Oh, the picture up there. Yeah, that was...
Yeah, these have to be videos. There's no way.
Oh, yeah, and I have another question. Aren't you able to, like, just edit stuff at any time?
Yeah, we could probably go back and...
Okay, because Gun Chad told me in Discord that he was going to edit it, so I didn't know if you could, like, edit something once it was published. I don't use Wattpad, so, yeah, that makes sense, because he told me he had to take a few things out. Otherwise, Twitch was going to on me.
Yeah.
We have a Google Doc with, like, all of the major stories in it, so that we can, like, obviously, like, have it preserved, and we control F for anything that was too saucy for Twitch and nothing really came up.
I mean, we may have missed something.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine, yes. No Twitch moderator's gonna be watching this. I mean, I did put it under the League of Legends game, so maybe they would.
Oh no.
Alright, we can go now. Nope, we're at 7 viewers. We're fine. Wait, is it my turn or?
Yeah.
Oh, it is? Oh, shit, sorry. Everybody listen up, Freddy screeched. What are you doing, Freddy? Whispered Spencer. I should have been, what are you doing, Freddy? Whispered Spencer. If we're going to get out of this situation, we need a plan to beat that mech. We need another mech, Freddy said, turning to Bergden and Turner. Where did your mechs go? We lent them to the Prickly Brothers, said Bergden. I think that's them over there, said Turner, pointing to piles of flaming metal that were simultaneously in water. Okay, ignoring how scientifically impossible that is, we need to build another mech suit, said Freddy. Are you going to do anything anytime soon? Mr. Antagonist impatiently yelled. Shut up. We are currently making a plan right now. Give us a second, Freddy replied. All right, let's split into groups. Bergden, Turner, you are with me in the mech building group. Now we need several groups for defending different parts of the school. A group for getting supplies, a group for going into the White House, and a group for making me some coffee. Freddy took out a clipboard and began dividing groups. All right, the supply collecting group will be George Jack Jackington, Jorgen von Stangl, Muscular Scrappy Doo, and Thomas von Strange. The group defending the principal's office will be... Freddy was interrupted by Robbie Rotten. We will defend the principal's office, said Robbie, standing next to Vector, Fieldger, and Soupy Sales. Who is Soupy Sales?
Donkey Kong.
He's the voice actor of Donkey Kong in a really... It's I'm not sure what the cartoon was called, but it was just about Mario and Donkey Kong, and it's really old, and it's something that basically exclusively us used to be about.
Ah, okay.
There's this one clip of him eating bananas that looked absolutely awful that got extended to like 2 minutes, I think, and it was just awful. I'm gonna try to find it now.
That sounds pretty good. Send me a link if you find that. What makes you think you can? Said Bart Bradley boldly. You're ugly, Robbie said, genociding Bart's hopes and dreams of being a famous art. Okay, you can defend the principal's office, said Freddy. Next, Mr. Tibber, Mr. Crosby, Mr. Wimley, and Mr. Kurt, you go defend the teacher's lounge. Ajax, Hi, Chris, you go defend the auditorium. Paul Blart, Matt Pat, Lemo, Eddie, you go in the basement. Shaq, Man, what kind of fucking school has a basement? Shaq, Man, Frizzle, Shadow, Johnny, you go in the White House. No, I do not want that, said Shadow. Why not, said Freddy. White is not an edgy color. I can't go in there. It'll ruin my rep, explained Shadow. I also can't go in there. My hair will get soggy, said Johnny. I have a consoling appointment with Ken soon, said Frizzle. My suit is in the dryer, said Man. There's power in numbers, but one is not enough, Shaq said, beginning to walk away. Suddenly, one fell over and hurt his toes. Oh my God! Not again, he cried. Below is a depiction of Shaq's toes in 2017. That's tragic. This makes Shaq's feet very unhappy, he screeched. Somebody get this man a breath mint and some Gold Bond foot powder spray, Freddy directed. We need a new team. Freddy looked around. Terry, Kenny, Spencer, Lenny, and Toby? AU Toby stepped forward. "Not you," said Freddy. Everyone looked at each other with a smirk except for Toby. "What's wrong, Toby?" said Lenny. Toby said something, but he was too quiet, so they assumed he was completely and utterly okay with coming along. They discussed the possible group names. "How about the Sculpture Superheroes?" said Spencer. "How about we call it?" said Lenny. That's what we're calling it. I like how Lenny face even fucked up on this picture. Unless that was intentional. "How does the Amish Avengers sound?" said Kenny. "How about Terry's crew?" said Toby really quietly. "Our group would be called the Terry Crew," said Terry. Toby made a face at Terry, then Lenny made a face at Toby, causing Toby to stop making a face at Terry. Then Johnny made a face at himself in the mirror. "All right, everybody take a communist communicator that I made while they were discussing the team name," Freddy said, handing each group a communicator. "Wait, what do we do?" cried one of the OCs not assigned to a group. "Watch the front door of the White House. That's probably where most of the people will come from if they come to attack us," said Freddy. "All right, everyone, move out," yelled Freddy, causing the groups to start doing their respective jobs. "First, we'll follow the resource group," said Narrator 2. Suddenly, Narrator 2 died because he was falcon punched through 17 trees. "Great. We can use those destroyed trees as wood," said George. "Yes," screeched Captain, before flying away on his large falcon. "This is a good result," said Adam Howen. "All right, follow me," said Jack Jackington. Thomas looked at Jack to see if he was looking at a leapfrog. Thomas went to strangle Jack, but decided against it. "You know that's a leapfrog, right?" said Thomas. "Wait, this isn't my new GPS?" said Jack, then pulling out Robo Walter. "All right, GPS, which way do we go now?" "You are, in fact, a meathead," said Robo Walter. Everyone in the resource collecting group got triggered. Meanwhile, in the teacher's lounge, Mr. Kurt was eating donuts. "If you keep eating those, you'll be surrounded by medicine that love you for your type 2 diabetes and not for your looks or money," said Mr. Wimley. Mr. Tibber decided to calm Mr. Wimley with a message. Suddenly, Mr. Crosby began to morph in front of Mr. Kurt, causing him to spit moist donut lumps onto the floor. Then Mr. Crosby walked up to Niall and woke him up. "What the heck do you want?" said Niall in his extremely thick accent. "What do you want to be when you grow up, kiddo?" said Mr. Mosby. "I don't know, a lawyer," he said in a completely accentless voice.
Meanwhile,
The Nut Shack brewed coffee. Mean Minnie Maui? Yeah, Maui, okay. Just tickety tapping while Team Robbie was walking down the hall. "Why did we take the principal's office again?" said Fieldger. "Think about it, my amigo. We could take back all of the confiscated objects from the principal's desk while he's not here," said Robbie. "Oh yeah," yelled Vector. "Keep it down. We don't want anybody knowing our plan," whispered Robbie. "Donkey Kong!" Soupy screeched while drinking the entire indoor pool. No, don't touch that," said Robbie. Oh no, yelled Vector. Soupy then spit up the entire pool's worth of water right at Robbie. "Here we go again," said Fieldger. "Let's just go to the principal's office," said Robbie. As they began walking, Robbie began to speak in a sing-songy voice. "We'll run down the hallway, slam some doors, and be extremely loud," he sang. "Really?" said Fieldger. "Ha ha Ha, gotcha, said Robbie, not realizing that Soupy completely took him seriously and started throwing locker doors at Robbie and screeching his war cry. Donkey Kong, Soupy yelled, causing a holocaust on Robbie's eardrums and assaulting his face simultaneously. Throw it at him, not me, Robbie said, pointing at Soupy. Soupy immediately knocked himself unconscious. Robbie chuckled, then tried to open the principal's office doors. He realized that it was locked. He pulled over Vector and Fargield and pointed at the doorknob when it started to turn on its own. It must be opening from the inside, said Vector. Get ready, said Fieldger. Being ready isn't good. In fact, it's just creepy, said Robbie. The door opened to reveal that. I don't fucking know what it. Alright, whoever's next.
That would be me. How to tie knots. The door opened to reveal Scizor, guarding the two prickly brothers. He and Robbie all gave a hanky boo. They got to a battle tank and made a noise that sounded like that stupid X-ray petrofish. Prepare for trouble, said Robbie. Make it double, said Vector. To protect the world from pesky flummox. Unite all those seas within our high school, and then out the evils of broke plant oil and bombs. To expand our reach with both direction and magnitude. Robbie, Vector. See Robbie blast off at the speed of a cannon. Surrender now or I'll shrink it next Monday. Monday? That sucks, said Field Guy. Go, go. Said Soupy. Me and Robbie got to their battle poses. Field Guy began by throwing a plate of lasagna at Scizor. Scizor wasn't expecting that in the slightest, so he was blinded. Scizor stumbled around like an alcoholic little penguin. What did you expect? Said Robbie, throwing a net at him. Vector then followed it up with an "Oh yeah," accompanied by his signature pelvic thrust. The thrust slammed James Scizor into a wall. And just when Scizor was about to make his first move, Soupy threw an entire cruise ship at Scizor. Now what to do next, said Robbie. Hey, it's the Pricklies, said Vector, and then freed the bros with Strike and Aurora. Thanks so much, you grade school muppets, said Peter. I can promise you kids that you'll never get a grade lower than an A in any class ever, again as long as you live, said Paul. Also, you didn't happen to see where Slicer went, did you? He whispered, after looking around. I don't know who Slicer is, but I saw some bald Nazi-looking guy running towards the lighthouse neck. Field Guy. All impeded and scuttled like two crabs that needed to go pee really badly towards the lighthouse neck. Hey, Strike, have you seen Gloomy at all today? Asked Paul. Aye, said Strike. Then, the Pricklies and their Pokemon began walking out of the office. Wait, did you just talk? Said Paul. No, bro, it's your imagination. What I actually said was Park. Said, questioned Strike. Thank God, quick, take the confiscated items and run, screeched Robbie. Soupy then took the entire desk and ran away. Robbie and Vector began to chase after them. Bring that back this instant, Robbie and Vector yelled together. Here we go again, said Fargill, then slowly walking after them. Back in the office when everyone was gone, Scizor rises out of the rubble like how Vincent's pimple erects itself on his face. He is hungry for revenge. He is coming. The rivalry begins. Meanwhile, at Button Club People Incorporated. Button Club People Incorporated, sang a group of singers hired by Sagmaster. Hey, Sagmaster, whose idea was it to incorporate Button Corp twice in the same jingle? The singer asked. Sagmaster then just made a face at the juicer. The singer was immediately juiced, and now he was a pile of poop that can't walk. The juicer poured the singer into a cup and drank him whole. It was almost as fun as that birthday party Corey threw for me at that one, said the juicer. Get back to work or you're fired, Sagmaster said. Yeah, sorry, I'm having a hard time concentrating because my co-worker's principles of juicing are directly violating my principles of milking. This is ludicrous, Groove said, annoyed. Go work it out with human resources, you artichoke. The Stagmaster pointing at a wall. Actually, you don't have human resources. It's actually just me with a fake mustache, but trust me, you seriously don't want to talk to that guy, said Stagmaster. Remember that Juicer then decided that they would take it outside. They discussed their differences over a nice cup of life-size Shushon tea. Top 10 out of 5, said Avery, watching them. Top 10 Avery jokes up while watching Avery. Stop, said John, getting uncomfortable with the fourth ball breaks. Bagmaster dragged his hand across his sweaty scalp like a bubonic plague works out. It doesn't take for an evil genius to get some work done around here, he said. Now let's check out Manowar's progress in defeating me. He stares at the cage that holds Manowar and Movie in a trap. Oh yeah, he's a pile of goo that can't walk, said Sagmaster. The generic Seinfeld laugh track is heard. Movie and Manowar just did nothing because they are incapable of moving. Here, I got this, said Sagmaster while sending a telegram to his friends. Suddenly the entire sky went pitch black. Now this is what I call getting some evil progress, said Sagmaster. Behold, Manowar, the Alberts! He said, pointing to the sky. They were everywhere, all riding tiny ships. Soon your precious city will be covered in sticky juice, and then the Alberts will blow it to pieces when they fire their lasers. Manowar, Umi and Angel Chance just looked at him like he was a crazy old man. We went to the same concentration camp back in the day. The good old days, said Sagmaster. Alberts attacked, said Master. Alberts obeyed and began destroying the city while Sagmaster poured juice everywhere. Oh, the humanity. But luckily there was one person, one special snowflake who knew the Alberts' weakness. That person was driving his bus down the freeway in the wrong lane, of course. Bus Mufasa still drunk from a night of drinking with nobody because anything is better than Vincent and Jack. What the? Said Ghost Mufasa, taking a glance at the sky. He slammed on the brake. Good thing there are no students on this bus, said Bus Mufasa. Well, Mufasa dusted off a picture of his two best friends with his dog. I knew this day would come, he said, shedding a single tear. Mufasa then did a donut and drove towards the center of the Alberts farm. Suddenly out of a sewer train came Stanley Steamer. And more one-liner cameos, he shouted before the sewer cap was run over by Bus Mufasa. It is written, only Soul Train can defeat the Alberts. Bus Mufasa, said Bus Mufasa, reading an ancient text titled Three Friends with a Dog. Bus Mufasa began to sing Soul Train at the top of his lungs, but he was partially tone deaf, so it sounded like a dying porpoise. Excuse me, sir, are you in need of assistance? Said a voice. Bus Mufasa looked back at the back of Bus to see Gooey. What the? Why are you here? Asked Mufasa. I didn't feel like getting off the bus. Also, I'm a pile of goo that can't walk, but I can speak 6 different languages if that helps, said Gooey. The Alberts walked up and fired a laser. There's no time, kid. I need you to sing Soul Train, said Mufasa. What? I've never seen Soul Train, said Gooey. What's wrong with you? You should really listen to it. We survived this laser, said Mufasa. Well, I have this. Terry left it here this morning, Gooey said, holding up the basketball. That's perfect, said Mufasa. Mufasa then made a free throw, and the Old Spice residue of fuck deflected the lasers towards the lighthouse net, crippling it slightly. You're alive, now I continue ruining my kidneys. Now you go stop these Alberts while I go get beer money from my buddies at school, said Mufasa. He dropped Gooey off at Club and went on his way. Gooey came into Sagmaster's layout. Guy with you? I'm going to assume he's with you, said Sagmaster, putting Gooey in the cage with the others. We will bury you! Sagmaster cackled as the Alberts began to hover near the White House neck in the high school. Meanwhile, back at Harry's high school, everyone was dodging attacks from a giant White House neck. I never thought it would come to this, said Jar Jar, holding a small hammer. He then broke open a small jar that read Jar Jar. Only break for emergencies, causing a miniature Jar Jar to come out of it and start beating the lighthouse neck like there was no tomorrow. Any Jar Jar was never seen again. Look, said Tostar, pointing at the White House. Wait, look, said Tostar, pointing at the White House neck. Everyone looked over to see the Alberts ray hit the lighthouse hard, crippling out like slightly like an old person with kidney failure. Amazingly awful, said Plum, referring to the massive helmets targeting the school like how we target clouds on Fort Glory. Luckily, a man who invented fighting. A man who invented fighting was there to hold the helmets at bay. You have broken the rules, said Jorgen. Von Strangle as he fired many Jorgens from every orifice in his body. His relatives Scrappy and Leonard destroyed him in the fight. Arnold also stole the Roscompa and did 9/11 on the largest elephant ship, jumping out before it crashed. He cried. Roz got so pissed she had a seizure similar to that of an object that gets stuck in the floor in Gary's mouth. Suddenly, Terry's abdominals whispered something in his ears because they're slightly introverted. Guys, I just heard something swanky from my abs, Terry shouted. Terry's abs flushed. These helmets are the perfect distraction. Let's counterattack by building our own mech that will be bigger, faster, and stronger too, yelled Terry. Mr. Lolo Boo rubs Terrence's sweaty muscles uncontrollably because he has a cleaning fetish. Hey, Team Muscle, yelled Terry at the resource collecting team. What did you find? Terry asked. Jackington held up the Lawrence's corpse. Well, I found this one dude who told me I couldn't touch his stick, so I taught him a lesson for being a freaking noob, said Jock. Annie DeVito threw trash at the Lawrence, but he's already dead, so it didn't do much. I got an entire tree, said Thomas, strangling the tree to the point where it was 2 logs. Well, that will cost us some time. Very good, kind of status report, said Terry. Kowalski pulsated very slightly in an attempt to resist giving Chairman Skipper a report of how many laborers died this week. Bergdon and Turner had made literally no progress because they were beating the crap out of each other. Has anyone in this group made any progress? Yelled Terry. Suddenly the nutjack came running through the crowd, shoving people on the group to get to Terry. Good news, Terry, we made coffee, said Jack, panting. Oh, try the one I made first. I made it with love, said Johnny Bravo excitedly. Terry took a step and immediately regretted being born. The cup had several chipmunk hearts and ligaments in it. I do, Terry. You're a good friend, said Johnny. Then the shadow shoved his cup down Terry's gullet. Hey, this isn't too bad. Nice job, said Terry. It's black. Coffee. Black like my soul. The taste was immediately washed away by McFrizzle's coffee, which was just a coffee-flavored Pop-Tart. About as disgusting as the ads that advertisement. Then I current the frog suit regurgitated his coffee into Terry's mouth. I didn't make coffee. That's what chamomile tea, said man. His saliva made Terry not very merry. Jack cheered Terry up like beating a gold pond, but unfortunately the test was blanked away immediately by Mr. Lolo Boo Boo, causing a holocaust on Terry's taste buds. Terry's eyes got moist, and they'd never do that. The nutjack looked down as their coffee sucks meaty ogre balls. Wait, wasn't the soft coffee supposed to be for Freddy? Said Haribo. Freddy then keeled over because he didn't get his edgy sleep. Terry's eyes got more moist than a public bus. He seated in the broom closet to think about how the school was doomed. Just, dang, we screwed it up big this time. Come on, said Jack. Come on, fellows, we can't give it up yet, said Kenny Ganesh. Yeah, Kenny's right. We can't just let them down the new class press, said Lenny. We don't have any supplies, said Zoe. Or coffee, said Franco. Or self-esteem, said Toby. All the LCs just looked at the ground, disappointed that they let Terry down. Well, sighed Swan. You guys could use what's left of my cabin if you want to, said Storm. Yeah, and you can take whatever you need from my place, said Papa John. I'll help in any way I possibly can, said Dwayne with higher fire than Dwayne picks. Some of the LCs began to look up from the ground in excitement. With the new source of self-esteem, they might be able to build a suitable mech. The Fortress of Vector do, envious Samus, said Vector, going up with Team Robbie. And for the body, we can use this old gal, said the Quickly Bros, making a triumphant return, referring to the high school. Alright, people, construction montage, the same time, yelled Jack. When the montage ended, Terry came out of the broom closet that was left out of the high school mech. He gave a hearty "What?" when he gazed upon the glory of said mech. Oh yeah, said Vector triumphantly, making the high school mech do a pelvic thrust. You guys are the best. Oh, said Terry, ovulating Old Spice, throwing himself with glee. Alright, everyone in, said Spencer, dropping a ladder like Sporticus quick. Here's the deal. Everyone will control a different part of the high school next. We beat the poop out of the White House next. While Terry and crew infiltrated, said Spencer. What about my crab? Said Slippy. No, said Slippy, crab retreating. It's a long chapter.
That Mac image is an original made by us image, by the way.
That's pretty good.
That was made by him specific.
Photoshop, MS
Yeah.
Paint.
Graphic design is my passion.
Hold on, I had one question on one of the characters. Was it? Yeah, Mr. Lolo Boo Boo.
Oh, that's Mr. Clean. And because we were playing Gary's mod one time, and I think it was hide and seek or something, and there was just a bottle of Mr. Clean, but it said Mr. Lolo Boo Boo instead of Mr. Clean, and we just thought that was funny.
That's pretty good. Okay. Continue reading. All Out War. Yeah, I don't.
Alright. Suddenly, as the two mech suits faced off, they started walking towards each other, step by step, closer and closer. Alright, crew, as you can see, there's a whole lot of stuff to do before school starts this fall, Terry said in the group huddle. Terry, school already started, Matthew Patterson said while grabbing a camera. New theory, Terry doesn't know his seasons? Matthew shouted out. Suddenly, Terry picked him up and threw him into the White House, where Morshu saw him and took it as a threat. Those kids think they can send this pathetic soldier into my mech? I think not, Morshu said while picking up Matthew by his collar. As you can see, this is my mech you are intruding, and Morshu doesn't like your kind here, Morshu said, dangling him out of a window before finally dropping him. Matthew then turned to the high school and said, New theory, OCs can't die? Luckily, the White House mech steps on him, killing him instantly. Morshu began yelling in a commanding voice. First, as a counterattack, send our troops. Troops began flooding out of the White House. Guys, we need to retaliate. They are sending troops, Shaquille Interclass yelled. Alright, everyone who isn't controlling the mech, follow me. We're doing the ground assault, Mr. Mosby shouted. No goons in my lobby, he said. Wait, why are you leading? You aren't exactly that tough, A.U. Toby asked. Suddenly, Mr. Mosby became Omega Mosby. Now I am, he said while picking up Mr. Crocker. Alright, Crocker, get your croc block up and ready because we'll be needing it, said Omega Mosby while leading the charge out of the high school mech. Suddenly, the OC started to flood the battleground and began to beat the goons like how a fedora-wearing robot spends money on extra nail polish for his hedgehog. In the heat of battle, two goons stopped in front of Greg. One began to speak. Boy, am I glad he's frozen in there and we're out here, and he's the sheriff and we're frozen out here and we're in there, and I just remembered we're out here. The goon was interrupted as Greg fell over and killed them both.
Hold on.
He then began...
That's a fucking Misadventures of Skooks reference, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the... Okay, you can continue. I just recognized that.
Why are you supposed to write it? The goon was interrupted as Greg fell over and killed them both. He began sliding towards the White House mech, wiping out hordes of goons in his wake. Both mechs continued firing out their moist orifices at each other. Vincent the Cannon just sighed as he fired out of the mech suit's nipples. Omega Mosby used Croc Block as a shield, then shield bashed goons. Hummer bombs flooded the field, causing Plum and Tip Stubby to have Oops War flashbacks and genocide tons of goons. John sent out jocks who pelted goons with pieces of polar bear liver containing so much vitamin KKK that it killed them. Egolf sent a happy box with a sign reading Orbeez Soothing Spa in front of goons looking pampered, got dead. Kretny lit a cigarette with PK Fire and looked at the battlefield. I should probably help with that. He then lit another cigarette and handed it to a goon. There, now we will die of lung cancer eventually. Back inside the mech, Team Robbie began firing various weapons from the pelvis, each time with a glorious pelvic thrust. Alright, crew, copyright. We need to infiltrate the White House, so we'll go in through the lower regions, said Terry as he led the crew towards the White House through the battle. Back on the field, the goons kept flooding out, and the rake came out, running out of the White House mech as well. Oh no, I'm surrounded, Sheen screeched like a chimpanzee with diarrhea. Wait, isn't that the weird guy who always gets run over? What was his name again? Gene said. The rake began mumbling. Oh no, he said. It's the rake though. No, it's the wrench. Or was it the rare encrusted blue jay with liver disease? Gene said, stepping towards the rake who was getting sweaty. Cookie Monster then yelled at his guest. It's a rump roast. The yells caused Sheen to accidentally step on a rake due to his severe brain damage. He laughed. I just got hit with this instrument used to rake lawns that goes by the informal name of rake that occasionally people who rake sometimes use to rake leaves. I repeat, I got hit with this instrument used to rake lawns that goes by the informal name of rake that occasionally people who rake sometimes use to rake leaves. I repeat, I got hit with this instrument used to rake lawns that goes by the informal name of rake that occasionally people use to rake who rake sometimes used to rake leaves. Suddenly, Eddie came out of the whale house at 666 miles per hour and vigorously ran over the goons and the rake. Suddenly, before the final time, Eddie drove back to the mech and detached his brother's mobile home from it and began hauling it towards the rake. Oh no, the rake cried out. Oh yes, Eddie yelled. Ora! Avery waved out. He then ran him over one last time before reattaching the whale onto the mech. Benny Slimeweenie laid down some slippery laundry sauce, causing some goons to slip right in front of Alyssa, who sucked out the souls of said goons and gave them to Scrappy Bun Stangle, dealing his Holocaust. The Terry crew snuck around, being sure to make as noise as possible. Yes, please touch that some more, Spencer said as Toby stepped on a stick. The goons were too preoccupied to notice, however. While walking, they began noticing the carnage of the battle. Toby in specific had PTSD to almost every roleplay he had ever been in. Oh no, Toby said, pulling out his phone to use Pokemon Go to cope with his PTSD. Lenny made a face at a goon. He then pulled out his signature minigun and genocided 6 million goons, thus ending the assault and making Morshu salty. Suddenly, they approached the front entrance. Oh no! It's way too technologically advanced for us to open, Terry yelled in disappointment. Suddenly, Kenny looked back and forth. He then whispered, All right, I think I can get this door open. Everyone close your eyes. Everyone obliged and closed their eyes. Roughly 42 pentagon-shaped seconds later, they opened their eyes and saw the doors completely open. Voila, it's open, Kenny said, putting something away. Wait, I thought you hated technology, Kenny, Toby asked nervously. Of course I hate technology, Kenny said, taking a sledgehammer out from his beard. He then proceeded to eat the entire hammer and breathe heavily through his mouth like that one kid in Ryan's old history class. Just before they walked in, Spencer tickety-tapped on Terry's shoulder. You what? Said Terry. Why didn't we just use my window power, which is most certainly not like a stand from JoJo, to get here quicker, Terry then responded with a yell. That's a great idea, let's do that! Terry then proceeded to pick up all of them and take them the longest possible route around the entire world, walking through an entire acid field and into the back door of the high school. Then they all nodded as they entered a window about 3 feet away from the door they had originally entered from.
Alright. Oh, this is the final chapter, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so how should we split this up? Should we read, like, I don't know, like 5 paragraphs or something? And then just move on to the next?
I can't explain longer than I remember.
Yeah, the whole thing isn't even loaded for me yet.
Oh no.
Oh, shit.
Oh no.
There it is.
I was like,
Wow.
that's quite a long, and then I scrolled down, and then the fucking scroll bar got way smaller.
The same happened to me. Alright, here we go. Let's get right into the news, said Keemstar as he watched the Terry Cool Kids crew enter the house in which certain non-midnight folks inhabit. Terry, I need some food in my stomach so that my morning pills fulfill their duties. Got any Toby snacks? Said Toby. Too bad. I already ate 2 sandwiches that Vincetta Grants gave me, and she is physically unable to produce more than that amount, said Terry. Here, have some Amish lemon sponge pie, Kenny said as his beard coated the pie. Toby didn't notice the beard flakes and ate a slice of the pie. Without warning, Toby grew a full beard. Leafy saw this and stole the rest of the pie. Terry pulled off Toby's beard with his godlike power. Toby wanted to screech like a chimpanzee, but doing so would trigger Man in a Yellow Hat, considering what happened to George without the pompadour. So he shed a single tear instead. Doing so reminded Terry of the time he was a cop on bootleg Atlantis Island. As the Terry crew was talking, two goons took the time to launch a missile at the crew. Klaus, who had somehow walked across the entire battlefield without suffering any physical harm, walked into the White House. Suddenly, unexpectedly, out of nowhere, in a swift and sudden manner, Klaus walked directly in front of the missile and blew up instantaneously. Is that Klaus from Mother 3 or?
Yeah.
Okay, should have figured.
The joke of him and Jack stay out is that he always dies.
Okay, I see.
He's the one character who can die and comes back.
So
Normally,
he's-
if a character dies, they're dead.
He's Kenny, okay. Well, that was sudden, Spencer said, flinching at the sudden sight of the bright flash. Spencer then dove through the window and then came out tackling both the goons to the floor, thus crippling them, enabling the Terry crew to progress further into the White House mech. Hold on. First, gotta give the viewers the great view of the gang and the picture up the top. Alright, whoever's next can go.
Oh, that would be me. Where was it?
It's look at all this newfangled technology.
Look at all this newfangled technologies. Kenny said, pointing at a man having an aneurysm. Kenny, that is just a disability. Toby said in a slightly uncomfortable tone. Whatever happened to the disabilities? The Juice Man, the Holocaust, an evening CG. TV playing Nightcore Full House with bass boost that said, "Oh, Family Matters with Urkel Strinson is on next." Guys, that's Spencer. I know you have ADD, severe depression, anorexia, morbid obesity, Spencer, but we gotta focus here. As they advanced there, they came to a fork in the road. Harry threw the plastic fork in the recycling bin, and then they came to a crossroads. Both stopped and stared at each other before Lenny said, "Alright, so you're most certainly not going to split up here. We are all going left." Everyone nodded, and then Terry, Kenny, Lenny, and Spencer all went left. Toby then looked at both his hands to judge which way was left, as he had been distracted by the new Pokemon Go update. Toby then realized he doesn't have hands, so he looked left and right, and then tumbled through the ground going downwards. As the four remaining Terry crew members were walking down the hall, they noticed that nobody had made a Pokemon Go joke in an uncomfortably long time. Something felt different. Oh yeah, they lost Toby. "Oh no, guys, we lost Toby!" screeched Terry louder than average. "Maybe he took a wrong turn in Albuquerque," said Bukes, who had tunneled his way through solid steel into the White House mech. Everybody in the Terry crew got on supper. Lenny sadly is incapable of making an expression that is not the Lenny face that became awkward. As the four began searching every nook and cranny for their friend, Terry began to sing it as if it was a Phineas and Ferb episode. They were contractually obligated to sing a song, but with more emotion. I'm not singing it. Someone else is singing it. Brian, you're singing it.
Wait, hold on. Do we have to sing it? It'd probably be horribly out of sync on the stream.
Oh, okay, we're just not gonna sing it, but it's Gary Come Home with Harry as Toby.
Yeah.
I don't
Unless
think
you want to
anything
sing
should
it.
No, I'm not
sing it.
doing that.
Okay.
Harry's eyes became moist. Meanwhile, Toby was using his Pokemon Go GPS system to find out which direction and magnitude he was going. He got distracted when he realized the White House bowling alley is a Pokestop. If the goons were bowling, they're therefore too lazy to capture Toby. "Harry, don't drive up like Pokemon Go or else you will die." Toby threw encrusted rose gold pink iPhone 6s Plus screeched at him, forcing them to put it down. Toby then got off his Segway and depressingly said, "Damn it, how'd they know?" He was moving slow enough that his movement was counteracted by a light breeze. "I think I'll walk," said Toby as he got off his Segway that he has clearly had the whole time. "Hey, who are you?" said one of the goons. "Don't worry about it, dude. We need another player for this bowling game anyways. Goon W4133D could make it because of his slipback goons. S33S4H, said the other goon. Right. Nobody even likes S33S4H, said the first goon. "Wait, you want me to join you?" said Toby. Yeah, why not? I'm goon B3N, and this is goon RY4N, said B3N. Someone else want to pick up?
Okay. Where was it? B3N? They had a great time, but the score was crazy. Toby got a perfect 300 and... oh, wait, hold on. I'm at the wrong one.
Yeah,
Wait,
I feel like I know you
somewhere.
from somewhere. Yeah.
Toby said suspiciously. He then looked at the camera. Wait, this is a book. How would he look at a camera? "Why did I do that?" said Toby. He then saw 3 people in the corner writing something. "Wait, who is that?" Toby said, walking over to them. He caught a glimpse of what they were writing. "Wait, I get a feeling like I know you from someone," Toby said suspiciously. Toby got extremely uncomfortable flashbacks to the Hell High School. The writers stopped existing because they wrote it like that. "Anyway, let's just go bowl before something else even more strange happens," said RY4N. Toby, RY4N, and B3N started playing, and they had a great time, but the score was crazy. Toby got a perfect 300, and RY4N and B3N got like 6 points because they were too busy pelvic thrusting through bowling balls to actually try. Meanwhile, the Terry crew was scuttling around looking for Morshu and or Toby. "Like, Toby Doo, where are you?" shouted Spencer. Just then, a really hot goon walked by and Lenny made his signature face. The rest of the Terry crew didn't notice, however, and they kept walking. Lenny followed a goon as he is a Lenny, and that's what Lennies do. "Hey, baby, are you an angel?" because Lenny started. The goon turned around and took off her mask. It was actually Robbie Rotten in disguise. "What are you doing?" he shouted. "Ha! Gay!" Lenny shouted from a distance. I can explain," said Lenny. "Have you ever tried a disguise?" asked Robbie. Well, technically, nah," replied Lenny. Suddenly, a really large goon walked over. It was clearly Mawini in disguise. "Ho! I see what's happening, yeah," said Maui. Lenny tried his hardest to stop making the Lenny, but he nearly had a stroke trying. Robbie's face became plum red, so instead of responding to Mawini, he threw a net at him and jumped out a window, not realizing that they were hundreds of feet off the ground. In the confusion, 2 goons ran over, noticing that Mawini was socializing with a non-goon. "Yeah, come on, dude, don't socialize with non-Aryans," said a goon to Mawini. "Hey, wait a minute, you ain't a goon," said the goon. Mawini then picked up the 2 goons and brutally ripped out their spinal cords. "You used them as sticks to light a fire that he stole from down below." "You're welcome," he said. Mawini and Lenny then sat around the fire, and Mawini taught him how Maui was just the fucking coolest in general. After several minutes of explaining, Mawini continued. "So, what I believe you were trying to say is thank you," said Mawini. "Thank you?" said Lenny. "You're welcome," Mawini said. Lenny made a face at Mawini, and Mawini made his "you're welcome" face at Lenny. Without saying anything, Mawini led Lenny to the White House pool so they could get a tan, and Mawini taught Lenny how to be as cool as him. Lenny took off his shirt and got several tattoos of everything he's ever done. After a short training montage, they beat up some goons and drank coconut milk while sitting by the pool. "Let's go swimming, mate." "I don't know. This pool is almost as moist as a public bus," said Mawini nervously. Lenny did a triple backflip into the deep end of the pool. "Come on in, the water's fine," Lenny said while making a face. Mawini slowly dipped his sausage-like toes into the pool. Alright, someone else take it.
I get it.
This part right here, oh, it's a masterpiece.
"Come on, don't be a weenie, my weenie," said Lenny. Mawini proceeded to put one foot in front of the other until he was up to his pangus and moistness. Mawini then started drowning. Mawini, what's happening? Shouted Lenny. I have a confession. We can't do anything but float, shouted Mawini. Hold on, buddy, I'm coming, shouted Lenny. Lenny ran over to the life preserver and grabbed Moana by the head to use her as a flotation device. Lenny threw Moana at Mawini. Mawini viciously drowned her and used her carcass as a poke. You're welcome, and thank you, he shouted. The Seinfeld laugh track plays as the pool turns red around Mawini. Lenny then comes over to him and the water becomes poop brown. Lenny made a face at Mawini. You're welcome, Lenny said as the water got 5 degrees warmer. Mean Mini Maui climbed on top of Mawini's nipple as he didn't want to touch the bloody poop on it. Oh God, dude. It's probably my favorite part of the story. This near-death experience has taught me how fragile one's life can be. Lenny, I think it's time I settle down, become an accountant, get married, have mean mini Mauis of my own, said Mawini, getting out of the pool. Lenny then flipped his face upside down to imitate a sad Lenny face. Well, if that's how it's gonna be, then thanks. For the best day of my life, said Lenny. Mawini just winked at him and said, You're welcome, buddy. They then fist bumped with their friendship rings that were made out of dead babies that Mawini accidentally killed when they walked through a nursery. Mawini jumped out and landed in his office, where he began
What is this? What is this?
Terry's dad.
Story, man.
Oh yeah, baby.
Wait a minute, aren't I supposed to be doing something? Oh yeah, it's Morshu, said Lenny. Eugene Weil, the 3 members of the Terry crew were walking about, looking for Toby and Lenny, when all of the doors around them started opening and closing vigorously. What is this wizardry? Stop, shouted Terry, who was hyperventilating. The opening and closing of doors reminded Spencer how in Vietnam there is no particular instance of anything similar to this happening, causing him to have Nam flashbacks. Kenny managed to scuttle up from the rest of the Terry crew through a small Amish man-shaped vent. Ken Juicer, what are you doing? Shouted Terry. He ran after him, but it wasn't because he was Amish. He couldn't fit through the vent. Oh no! Cried Terrence. The Terry crew was down 3 members, so they underwent a Great Depression. When Terry got to the other side of the vent, he saw a room with blinking lights. Aha, this is where those grubby meat nuggets hid all of the technology, Kenny said, smashing the door open with his half-digested sledgehammer. Now to go to town on all this technology. Kenny vigorously smashed every machine in the room. As a loud flatline sound began playing, Kenny then looked back and forth, realizing he accidentally destroyed the life support system, keeping several goons alive. The sign causing the goons to die even faster when you donate 666 silicone pennies to help Kermit Die Sooner Fund. Kenny, having no human remorse due to being Amish, ran out of the room as several goons ran into the infirmary and held up the dying older grandmother goons. No, they were so close to making the 3 sandwich technology, said Goon B1NC3N7 while sobbing like a meaty man-child during the Great Ice Bucket Challenge. Kenny systematically genocided every piece of technology he could find. This caused the mech to begin spazzing out. Back in the high school mech, they couldn't stop chuckling at the fact that the White House mech was behaving similarly to nuns with epilepsy. Tito Dick Man Baby laughed so hard that he coughed up the cigarette he had eaten prior to lunch. Somebody else want to take this?
All right. Doug Dennis Square looked at him and said, "Hello, sus," before graciously taking off his infinitely tall hat, causing the entire planet of Neptune to stop existing. After Kenny finished his rampage, he turned around to realize he was trapped as the machine used to open the door was broken. "Who is the nincompingatron that broke this?" Kenny said, realizing that it was actually some goon named 4V3RY who screamed so loud that the machine broke. Spleenwhile, the Terry crew, which was more like the Terry 2, was galloping about, wondering where the rest of the crew and Morshu were. It was at the moment that Terrence's bladder politely asked him if now would be an appropriate time to use the amenities. "Uh-oh, I gotta go pee-pee," said Terry. He then walked into the bathroom to empty his powerful bladder. A camera pointed at Terry watched him go pee-pee. Morshu and his head hench lobsters walked through a monitor. Oh my god. "They're getting closer.
What is this?
Your Highness," said a goon, "ready to attack men. That will be the last time liquid ever flows from Terry's weenie," said Morshu, twiddling his fingers and laughing menacingly. I'll show them all for not letting me be in Shaq's day out," Morshu said, shedding a tear. Spencer got bored of waiting for Terry to finish up, so he wandered into the first room he could find. It was a hall of mirrors. "Hey, good looking," Spencer said, while looking at his reflection in several mirrors. Spencer then started messing around in various ways, such as tapping himself on the shoulder, scratching his own back, and giving himself a boost to look hot at a high mirror. Spencer then jumped into one mirror and out another in the process repeated 666 times, building up enough speed to reach a parallel universe. I get that fucking reference. "Oh my god, I traveled to a parallel universe," Spencer said in disbelief. "Oh wait, I always do that," Spencer said, looking at a strange gay guy holding a Rainbow Dash statue, holding it above a younger looking Shaq. "Whoa, is he about to kill Shaq?" Spencer said in a concerned tone. "Not on my watch," Spencer said, throwing his mirror watch above the gay hobo. He also threw Johnny's hand mirror above Shaq, causing the statue to, in turn, kill the homosexual, cringy, wimpy, pathetic, worthless Jewish baby. Wait, I shouldn't be messing around with alternate universes. There could be unforeseen consequences, Spencer said, leaving the Oshok universe and entering a barred window inside of the mech. "Oh no, I'm in prison. Whatever will I do?" Spencer said sarcastically, while attempting to squeeze out of the prison windows to little success. Oh, god damn it. Fucking scrolled way down. Shit. Okay. Fuck, sorry, I lost my place. God damn it. Did I travel way too far? Okay,
Check Shaq stays out now.
There we are. Meanwhile, Terry was taking a rip on the toilet as his pee-pee turned into poo-poo. Suddenly, he heard a voice. It was very familiar and quiet. "Ah ha ha," but it got louder. "Ah ha ha," it cried. That was probably supposed to be a cry. Oh shit, whatever. "Daddy, is that you?" asked Terry. "Yeah, it's me. Sorry, I was playing Clash Royale, and this one guy just... Here, I'll just cut to the chase," Jack Ogre began. "I'll come here now and bestow you with advice. Firstly, stop falling asleep while you pee. That's disgusting. Secondly, there's power in numbers," said Jack. "Power in numbers? But everyone abandoned me, and that's despite the fact that the Terry crew only has 5 members. Trust me, Dad, I'm an expert on power," said Terry. "Wait, sorry, that was the wrong advice. The real advice is, Don't be too aggressive. Use the push and shove method, said Jack. Who told you that? Avery? Terry asked. Actually, yes, said Jack. Suddenly, Terry's skin was made of recycled dental floss, and Jack's teeth were made out of tiny pictures of Donkey Kong. Dad, help, said Terry. It's okay, Terry. We can fix this. Just wake up, you Old Spice. Terry did as he was instructed and woke up. Everything was normal. Terry flushed, washed up, put on some Old Spice, and walked out of the bathroom. Yo, Spence dog, I just had the most trippy ass, Terry shouted. Spencer? Terry said, looking around, noticing that Spencer was gone. He was alone. Rip, said Terry. Suddenly, Terry started to look at a mirror near a window on the wall as he started to pulsate his pecs. Okay, next person want to go?
Oh God.
That would be
Sucks.
your mother.
Shy Guy, check your DMs now.
My DMs?
I have something important to send you. Yeah, for me.
Oh, okay.
Two very,
Harry, I'm in the
very
window.
important things.
Those are some pretty good things.
Also, I forgot about the fucking uber secret fucking foreshadowing to the next book in this chapter.
God.
Went right over your head, probably.
It's fucking foreshadowing, goddamn.
Yeah, there's like actual fucking foreshadowing in this one.
Shit.
Where are we going? Harry, I'm in the window, a voice said. Spencer, boy, am I glad that you're here and you're in there and I'm out here, Terry said. What? I'm not Spencer. I'm Toby. I'm actually stuck halfway in this window. How didn't you notice me? Said Toby. Why didn't you say anything earlier? Said Terry. You know how I don't like talking in general, said Toby. Right. Glad to see you. Any idea where the others are? Terry said, looking from left to right, like how a sprinkler sprays water on an unmoist lawn. Toby didn't respond and in turn checked Pokemon Go. Then he saw a Pokestop labeled Lenny as right here, you freaking moron. So he then walked the exact opposite direction and proceeded to make his way towards the prison in which Spencer was held. Toby, seeing Spencer reminds you that we need to go get Lenny. Terry said, Toby, seeing Spencer reminds me that we need to go get Lenny, Terry said. He then proceeded to walk all the way to where Lenny was. You know, Toby, seeing Lenny reminds me. How did you get stuck in that window? Terry asked. Toby smirked and replied, well, you see, it all started when I was born. And then I defied the laws of physics while bowling, and there was this tortilla demon thing, and I was being detected. But yeah, there was also new seats. Terry looked at him and said, you know very well the dangers of new seats, doggo. Now imagine if all the terrible classmates you could be put next to by the teacher. Those seats really do explain the anomalies of life. Terry then looked at Lenny. Lenny made a face at Terry that said, where is Spencer? Terry then made a face at Lenny that said, we've already made a joke like this. Toby, being the best at body language, considering he always gets slightly uncomfortable when he needs to talk, understood both faces, perfectly responded. Why, yes, this haircut is new, Toby said while caressing his head. You what? Does that even count as hair? Said Lenny. Where did that come from? Said Terry. Oh, sorry, I may be great at body language, but I still mess up sometimes when talking. What I meant to say is we just saw Spencer in that jail. They then ran directly past the prison and Toby ran into a wall. It appears the wall here is made out of wool. They turned around and Toby looked at them and thought, this wall tastes just like Kenny. Toby said with a grin. That can only mean one thing. We should get Spencer. Terry shouted as Toby approached the cell with Spencer. In it, he began to lockpick the lock. He successfully lockpicked the door and opened it for him. Spencer walked out. Toby closed the door behind him. Toby then remembered something, causing him to say, oh wait, I don't have hands. Realizing that he still doesn't have hands, Spencer to teleport back in for seemingly no reason. Damn it, said Doug Dennis, watching them through his dim binoculars. Spencer then realized that he could just use a window to rescue Kenny, so he picked up the nearest phone and called tech support. Why, felicitations, I'm calling about a broken computing system in a White House mech. Spencer said into the cellular device. Okay, sir, our ITT tech support agent will be right over, said an indie voice said through the phone. If you wait a few minutes to worship a sweaty 24-armed elephant named Booty.
I like the picture.
Roughly 111 hours and 49 minutes because every hour in India is only a second everywhere else, so it's more like 2 minutes. Later, an Indian man named Rakesh showed up, booted up Windows 98. Alright, sir, we will have this door open in just a moment. In the meantime, listen to some smooth jazz, Rakesh said, turning on some smooth some Mongolian throat singers. He was interrupted by Spencer diving into the computer and exiting with Kenny. Well, I mean, it's still a window. Spencer said while Terry shrugged and turned Rakesh into a vending machine and took out a bag of potato chips. Eat barnacle chips, they're delicious, Marshall said through the intercom. Betty's Indian cousin then proceeded to run over the vending machine. Right, now, according to my religion, I must bathe in goat sperm for 666 minutes and then win the sock hop against Mr. Crocker's brothers, Albert, who was a genie hunter before high noon while wearing the fedora of shame and sin in order to redeem myself to the church. Great, said Kenny. Do you want to fucking switch it out here?
We can do that after we take down this mech, Toby said in a commanding voice. Terry then drop-kicked the vending machine out of the White House mech, and it landed on Albert Pirate Fart vending machine's saucer. Boy, you reposted the wrong Albert spaceship, said APFVM. Oh no, it wasn't worth it, said Rakesh the vending machine. He was then beat the crap out of and never seen again. All of the OCs back in the high school mech were looking at what happened through a telescope. Oh my goodness, the planet of mosquitoes is colliding with Earth. Life as we know it is absolutely fucked every man for himself, said Sebastian. He then backed away from the telescope to realize he was looking at Vincent's giant butt pimple that he calls a beauty mark. Oh, said the whale-washing dolphin. Rip, you got me excited, said Manny Skeeto. Back in the White House mech, Toby began leading the crew towards the Oval Office. When they finally arrived, he let out a sigh of relief. Finally. Alright, I'm gonna go pee, I'll be back, Toby said. When Toby went to the bathroom, a quiet discussion arose between the other OCs. Hey guys, am I the only one who noticed that Toby is acting kind of funny? Spencer asked. Yeah, this can only mean one thing. We need to get Lenny, Terry said, throwing Lenny back in his initial position and getting him back. Oh, okay, said Lenny. When Toby came back from the restroom, something felt different, but nobody could put their finger on it. It wasn't nude seats, you diminutive shiz. Oh yeah, it's the new eye patch, said Terry. Oh wait, so that's not regular Toby? Said Kenny. What are you talking about? I'm most certainly regular Toby, said the most certainly regular Toby. Suddenly, Gibby came out of Kenny Kanish's back pocket and said, Objection! That ain't Falco, and that isn't Toby either. He's a fake, I tell ya. Sighs Gib Juice as he takes his shirts off. Lenny made a face at Gibby, but Gibby was so sweaty and slightly overweight that his shirt remains off. But Gibby does not, however, spray himself with bug spray as he doesn't want to get a mosquito bite from Manny. Or does, however, spray himself with bug spray as he doesn't want to get a mosquito bite from Manny Skeeto. Ooh, you almost had it, Gibby said while cribbling Manny with the bug spray. Gibby then proceeded to point out the eye patch, and Gibby pulled the real Toby out of his wallet made of imported mariachi sweat. Wasn't it obvious? When he ran into that wall, it spun around and I was on the other side, like in Scrappy-Doo Adventures, you know what I mean? Hey, Toby explained. Wait, so how did I get here? Said Toby. Nobody had the guts to answer. Suddenly, Chef Boyardee and the actual Adolf Hitler came in to give their felicitations because they were canon characters. Weren't you paying attention? If you were, you would have noticed that the subtle Hitler did nothing wrong earlier in Propagandendorf, as Toby walked through a sea of septa doors, which further defied physics. Everyone gave him awkward stares. What? Is it my new haircut? He asked as they began to further trek through the mech in attempts to reach the Oval Office. As they approached a set of six-dimensional doors. Alright, I don't even understand how that's supposed to work, and I can use mirrors as windows and portals, said Spencer in a confused tone. This is it, Luigi, said Terry. Who's Luigi? Said Toby, not getting the reference. Toby. We just had an entire song about how we regret making fun of you. Give us a break, said Lenny. My bad, said Toby. The Terry crew then burst through the door and made a stance like in that photo that Waleed has yet to draw of the Terry crew, or something that Avery would call a JoJo pose. You're going down, Tubby, said
I have to
Spencer.
draw that.
Tubby, Morshu said, looking down at his jiggling jelly rolls. He then became Super Saiyan, like in that one anime that Avery doesn't watch. Alright. You take over.
I got it. Oh no! Ultra weeb trash! Screeched Terry. Morshu threw bombs everywhere like a terrorist from CD ISIS. Spencer jumped out of the way into a window and then came out from behind Morshu and attempted to tackle him. However, he instead got caught in one of Morshu's fat rolls. Toby went to punch Morshu, however he tripped and fell. Morshu then proceeded to loom over him. This will be your final mistake, you dogman person, Morshu said before AU Toby came in and tackled him to the ground. What is this, you from the future? I guess that would explain the eye patch. Morshu then proceeded to kick AU Toby off of him, almost launching him out of a window. He then laughed. Your pathetic attacks won't be able to defeat me, Morshu said, posing for his fans. Is that so? Lenny began pulling out his minigun. It is. Nothing can beat the legendary dinner blaster, Morshu said, whipping out a large bazooka-like weapon. He began shooting sandwiches out of it, such as a turkey sandwich, 2 of Vincetta's sandwiches, a sandwich, and a number 9 large. Morshu couldn't fire anything else. Looks like you're out of ammo, and the only thing that could save you now is if more food just fell right out of the sky. Haha, fall right out of the sky. Suddenly, the entirety of Bikini Bottom's food supply was dropped out of the sky and into the Oval Office. Oh, I see, said Lenny. Lenny was immediately shot with something that smelled awful. Fried oyster skins, Lenny cried out before losing consciousness. Kenny picked up his broadsword and his family-crested shield. Maybe this will keep you at bay, Kenny said, using the shield as a weapon and the sword to protect himself. Morshu then threw a singular phone at him, and Kenny receded like Avery's hairline. Looks like it's just you and me, Terrence Allen Cruz, Morshu said while taking aim at Terry. Not so fast, Morshu. Your food can't hurt me, Terry said, grinning. I was on bootleg Atlantis Island. Morshu attempted to fire at Terry. However, Terry just punched out every piece of food. I hate to say it, but we might have to settle this like a good old-fashioned anime fight, Terry said reluctantly. There was an awkward silence. There was a surprising lack of Avery at that moment, said Terry. However, I will fight you like some kind of weeb, but only to make Avery very happy, Terry said. They posed at each other viciously. They approached each other, and they raised their fists. I am, meanwhile, at Button Corp, Evil Incorporated. Gooey, Angel Dance, Lumi, and Portuguese Manowar were inside of a really slimy cage. Sagmaster was looking at the sky. What's happening? My helmets, they're failing, he said. Well, at least Manowar hasn't tried anything funny yet, said Sagmaster, expecting Manowar to pull something funny. Well, I don't have a backup plan here, so I'm just gonna play Realm of the Mad God until you defeat me, said Sagmaster, bringing his laptop into his den. Just then, Manowar turned to Angel Dance and made a big Lenny. Angel Dance began to blush, but then Dr. Drake Manowar, who was riding Big Lenny, burst through the wall. Brethren, I have come to save you, cried Dr. Manowar. He freed the 4 piles of goo from their cages. Sagmaster came out of his den wearing nothing but his Manowar-themed underwear. Hey, what's going on out here? Big Lenny and the 4 piles of goo are ready to attack him. Oh yeah? But wait, there's more, said Sagmaster, getting ready to unveil a new button. Well, there's not really any more, but Sagmaster was interrupted by Big Lenny stingering him various times, and the 4 piles of goo beat him up again before escaping. Okay, everyone, get on, but if you're sitting next to me, remember, it only hurts when you touch it, said Dr. Manowar. As they leapt on Big Lenny, juices and milk exploded everywhere. Sagmaster let out one, Curse you, Portuguese Manowar! Juices and milk got all over the White House mech, causing it to malfunction. It was now unable to move, like the piles of goo that it was covered in. The high school mech was also unable to move now. It was up to the Terry crew to take it out from inside. Hey, it was nice meeting you guys. Adios, said Gooey, dropping off of Big Lenny midair like an edgelord. Well, it was nice working with you, partner, but Paul will be expecting me for dinner soon. Call me sometime if you want to work out or take a jog on the beach, said Gumi. He tipped his fedora and then rode his jetpack away. Manowar made another big Lenny at Angel Dance. I see what's happening here, said Maui, who just happened to be riding Big Lenny the whole time. The piles of goo and Dr. Manowar just looked at him. What, you thought I actually gave up on being a demigod to be an accountant? Oh, that was just Maui messing around, said Mawini. Mawini then landed Big Lenny and put Drake on the ground. Sorry, dude, I gotta borrow your ride. It's an emergency. We gotta save my friend Lenny, said Mawini. Then Manowar, Angel Dance, and Mawini headed straight for the oval orifice on Big Lenny to save the Terry crew. Big Lenny burst into the Oval Office, and the shock knocked Spencer out of the fat rolls. Thank God, it smelled like my sweet spot was now a sweat spot. Spencer was getting into a battle stance. In the mere presence of Big Lenny, Lenny got up and made a face at Big Lenny. He then made a bigger Lenny at Mawini. Back at the high school, Shaq shoved everyone out of the way so he could see what was going on through the telescope. Lenny pulled out his minigun and stood ready. Big Lenny and took his giant stinger and stung the nearby electric tower, thus shutting off all electronics. Yes, please, touch that some more, Kenny said, preparing for a fight. The Toby twins just got up, because in reality they just kind of fell over. As everyone began to surround Morshu, he very uncomfortably said, "You like jazz?" Everyone stopped and looked around. Actually, yes, said Toby. I only listen to death metal, Toby said as they nodded in agreement, then returned to battle stances. Manowar and Angel Dance just provided some moist slime that Morshu accidentally slipped in and fell over. Alright, someone want to take over?
Alright. Oh
Alright,
no.
You gotta finish it off now, Luke.
Hell yeah. Oh no, Morshu said, while his pants were moist with slime. Ora, Avery said while attempting to swing into the office but then hitting a window and falling. Watch out for that tree, said George of the Skyloft. Mawini just stepped up to him and beat the peanut butter and jelly out of him with his staff. He then made a face that says, "You're welcome." Lenny also made a face. Avery's face was pressed against the glass, and he starts sucking on the glass. Suck, said Lenny. Terry then nodded at everyone. Shall we? Said Lenny, like a spy from TF2. Everybody but Morshu nodded. Morshu started shaking like a baby, and that was a mistake, and that was also getting brain damage from being shaken by a babysitter. Time for a chain attack, screeched Adam Howden. I appreciate that reference. Why don't you start, Toby, said Terry. Wait, me? Said regular Toby. AU Toby stepped aside. All right. Toby walked up to Morshu and pulled out his phone. He turned one of those free phone apps. Morshu began laughing at him. Morshu was immediately shot with a real bullet from the phone. It's like that one stand from JoJo, screeched Avery. Kenny made a Kenny face while grabbing his pocket man bikini. That's right. I've got my pocket man right here. It's like a pocket cloud, but you aren't a disgrace to all of the human race if you use it, Kenny said while using the man bikini to sling rocks at Morshu. At least it isn't as bad as he interrupted Kenny He is interrupted as Kenny launches the entirety of Voice Box at his face. Lenny pulled out his favorite gun in the whole wide world, the Penetrator. Now, Lenny yelled, unloading 518 bullets at Morshu, most of which hit directly. Spencer opened up several portals, enabling Terry to falcon punch Morshu through 17 dimensions, each more different from the last. This isn't going too well for Morshu, is it? Spencer asked, looking at everyone and smiling. Falcon punch! Morshu was hit so hard that he flew through 17 different parallel universes, one of which was a universe where all matter is tree. He came flying back out of the universes and landed right where he started. Morshu just sat in a damp puddle of slime. The Terry crew surrounded him menacingly. "Hey, give me my personal space, you half-baked tutsis," said Morshu. "Wow, Morshu seems real salty," said Toby. "Well, I was the only successful OC who wasn't in Shaq's day out. And frankly, that pisses me off," said Morshu. "Well, my companions, that is no ordinary salt. Taste for yourself," said Kenny. Suddenly, all of the OCs from the high school mech came in to witness the new exposing video from Keemstar himself, and some of them also briefly licked Morshu. "Hey, this is for glory, Salt," cried Captain and Adam. "Exactly. This isn't Morshu at all. What OC would ever go to this length to kill other OCs? None. This isn't Morshu. This is none other than," Kenny began, taking off his mask. He took off a Morshu mask, revealing Dookie. He then took off that mask to reveal Scrappy. Kenny grabbed that moist mask to reveal Shaq. Kenny grabbed that mask to reveal Mr. Bean. And finally, he took off that mask to reveal the true culprit, Mark, the saltiest entity ever. "Whoa, it's just like me," said Scrappy in a Dookie suit. All of the OCs stared at the talking salt shaker. I can't fucking talk anymore. Yeah, that's right. If it was me, it was me. And I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for the Terry crew and their edgy/cringy dogs, said Mark. Mark began to get really salty because the OCs were teaming up on him. Then where's the real Morshu?" cried Brandon, who was feeding Clinchmaster suicide pills as a midday snack. Suddenly, the real Morshu came out of the bathroom. "How's it hanging? That was a spicy spaghetti taco." "Thanks, Spencer," said Morshu. Everyone looked at Spencer. "What? I gave him the world's spiciest taco. How was I supposed to spend several months on the Oval Office or the toilet?" said Spencer. "So what are we going to do to this dork?" said Eddie's brother. "I say we take a bath," said Random Guy. "I second that notion." "Kronk, come help wash my back," said Rudy. Kronk ran over and rubbed Rudy's back like how a dyslexic, starving African child rubs a lamp in the hope that a genie will come out and give him the ability to read slightly better so that he can tell how much a potato costs in the Banana Republic. Papa John said, "I'll shoot my son at him using the bow." Bo scornfully looked at him and said, "But Dad, I hate it when we use that." "I say we make him watch the Nut Shack," Tito said. "Well, we all know what I'm going to do. I'll rip his heart out and feed it to Arthur while it's still beating," said Thomas. His hands were pulsating. Zoe slapped him. "I think we should give him an honorable death," Rave Samurai Jack said. "I know how we'll do this, my way," said Petey. Petey then hung Mark from the tree, and the OCs took turns beating him with a stick and collecting his organs as a fun treat. Axel, being a drunk furry who took a swing, missed, and hit Scrappy Von Stangl in the face. "You nincompingus, you will pay," Scrappy said, chasing him and firing sonic lasers from his nipples. Mittler took a swing despite being only a hand. "Did I hit him? Did I kill the Jew?" he said. Mittler took Mark's kidney that fell out of him and used it as a beret. Nice hat, said AU Jamie Heineman. Thanks, said Mittler. Man of War flopped into Shaq's arms. Oh, there you are, Man of War, said Shaq. Perry got triggered. I think this is a satisfying ending, said Tosta. Luigi, play the sax, screeched Hotel Mario. Hotel Luigi started playing that sax like he had never played it before. Mark's body was melted into a solid gold, and the school put up a statue of him out front, signifying the day that the Terry crew defeated the White House and Salty Mark forever. How powerful. The Terry crew and the OCs went down in history. The end. The Seinfeld laugh track plays. So that is Terry's Day Out.
Yeah.
That was pretty fucking epic, I'm not gonna lie. Just to get this straight, wasn't Mark like someone from your high school or something? Or am I thinking of someone different?
Mark was a guy who death threatened us because he targeted him in a 4 glory round.
Oh,
Smash
okay.
forward. And then he
Okay.
sent us like a death threat over eBay.
He was like, I have your phone numbers and shit. I was just like, cool, I can report you. And then he's like, well, I didn't mean your phone numbers. I just meant your numbers. And I was just like, what's that even mean?
Okay, I guess I was thinking of that one dude who fucking did the ice bucket challenge.
That's Vincent. That's
Vincent, yes.
Something that I don't think we explained that thoroughly is that Vincent is Shaq's father, and
Oh yeah, I think I do
Jack-
remember that.
Jack is Terry's father.
Okay. And what about Sagmaster? I don't know who Stagmaster is.
He's just Doofenshmirtz, but instead of making innators, he makes buttons.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
He's the CEO of like he's based on a guy in real life who's the CEO of a company that makes I don't really know. Ryan, you have to
Useless
explain it.
inventions,
You
right?
had
I actually don't remember.
there are buttons. There was buttons you press to every time you boot up your computer, your TV, or something, so that they can survey it.
Okay, so it's just a bunch of dumb shit. I came just from hearing it. Damn, the chat fucking lit up. It's pretty good. White House is gone. Man, I've got to say, that was an even better finale. But I also did kind of miss what happened to Scissor and what was it?
They just got beat up, I think.
Okay, because they just kind of disappeared from the story.
Yeah.
Is there also a reason you chose those two Pokemon? They just this fucking random Pokemon.
Those were the Pokemon we used in the Miiverse role plays. And we
we had a Miiverse Pokemon RP, and everyone had to choose a Pokemon to have with them. And I was Shaq, obviously.
Mhm.
And then I don't know who was who, but I know
I played as Principal Prickly, and Ryan played as Principal Prickly's Lucario named Aurora.
The only
Okay, so
really edgy
He just drove
Pokemon
us
that people
going around murdering various people.
there was another thing where when they were doing an interview of Egolf, they were mentioning how a bunch of high schools got destroyed, and that's because we did a bunch of high school role plays where we
Oh,
ended
yeah, that
by,
makes sense.
blowing shit up and just sending it to hell.
I remember
It was a
that.
list of things that we had done before to end high school RPs.
I should probably assume most of this is just random RP shit if I don't know what it is.
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah.
But I know it was brought up that you had fucking Vincent from high school, so I didn't know how many more of these would be.
I mean, we did a role play as him, I think.
yeah,
We did a role play as him in the form of a cannon.
That's
we
pretty
did
good.
a roleplay as
Yeah, he
him
was
as
the
a fucking
coconut cannon
crystal
from
gem.
PVZ2,
We
right?
did a roleplay as him as
Yeah.
a crystal gem, and he could shoot, what was it, carrot juice or something?
It was like a Steven Universe RP, right?
Yeah, and he was Vincent the Fuchsia Gem, and he could shoot carrot juice from his nipples or something.
Oh, I'm just reading chat. We got a little Pickle Rick fight going, but I think I'm just gonna end the stream here. It's been, how long have we been going for?
It's been real.
That's been pretty long. I'm gonna be a little lazy. I might not upload it for a few days because I gotta fucking make a thumbnail. That's pretty good.
That's fair. It's also
You can,
not a
you can
huge
just
file.
use the high school mech picture for the thumbnail if you want.
That's fair. I'll think about it. Sometimes I like adding like just a little more of my personalization to it, kind of to fit in with the last one. We'll see what I'm feeling that day, but yeah, this will be uploaded soon, and I can't believe somebody thought Pickle Rick was 2016, you fucking plebs. Fucking liberals. Alright. I am out.